The St. Louis Cardinals are 54-43, a surprising 11 games above the 500 mark here on July 18th of this 2008 campaign. A big reason why, starting pitching. Braden Looper in his second season in the rotation, looking for win number 10 tonight. Looper 9-7, Maddux 3-8. Baseball around the corner on FSN. Another hot, steamy night here in downtown St. Louis. Game number 2 between the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals. With the win last night, the Cardinals are back to 11 games above the 500 mark. Loving the long ball. That was the case last night for St. Louis against Jake Peavy. He would give up 4 home runs, all solo shots. Rick Ankiel, number 21, 2 off the bat of Troy Kloss. And Joe Mather late, just over the wall, picked up the home run off the bench. Cardinals beat Jake Peavy, and they take game 1 4-3. That's Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to the broadcast booth, and welcome to game 2 between the Padres and the Cardinals. It was a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience there in the 9th inning, Al, no doubt about it, but the Cardinals get the win. And you say it's a much-needed win. You set the tone for the second half, and really you set the tone for the series.
Well, I think that's right. The Cardinals have been struggling at home, so it was good to get that first win last night and do it in dramatic fashion. The 4 solo home runs, you know, Ryan Franklin picks up the save, but had a little trouble with back-to-back doubles, but then he nailed down the victory.
Not many expected the Cardinals at this point in the season to have 54 wins. That's a surprise. And also a surprise, Ryan Ludwick. This lineup has been so good at times that Ludwick wasn't even in the lineup last night following the All-Star game. And of course, he was an All-Star. And this is a look at your Ford Key in the month of July for Ryan Ludwick, hitting .310 and making his first ever All-Star appearance. We had a chance to visit with him before the game and ask him about the experience at Yankee Stadium in New York.
Well, I mean, it's just, you know, it's the break, obviously, and it's a great honor to be there, especially, you know, knowing that the peers voted me in, and I had a great time, you know, but now it's back to business, you know, game 1 of a series here, and we got to have a good second half run.
21 home runs on the season for Ryan Ludwick, and he's in that great spot in the lineup right in front of Albert Pujols tonight.
Yeah, it's a spot where Tony likes to put a damage hitter, a guy that can do some power, can do a lot of things, and of course Ludwick is very capable in that situation. But I'd like to see us not be so dependent on the long ball.
Well, they'll have to do it tonight against the future Hall of Famer, one of the game's best. Always fun to watch him. Maddux through the years, Atlanta, Chicago, now San Diego. A look at Greg Maddux is next. Fans are finally in here to Busch Stadium on this hot night here in St. Louis. It'll be Braden Looper against the future Hall of Famer. There he is taking in BP. That's Greg Maddux, now of the San Diego Padres. It began back in the mid-'80s, where he was one of the top young pitchers while with the Chicago Cubs. As we take a look through the years of his career, it starts with Chicago and Cubby Blue, Al.
Well, he's just an outstanding young pitcher. He really wanted to become a better pitcher, and he was a quick study. As he moved along, the one thing is consistent is his victories. He has been so tough on the Cardinals through the years, 350 major league wins. This guy just knows how to pitch. He's got over 3,000 strikeouts and less than 1,000 walks.
What is it about him that makes number 31 one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball ever?
Well, the fact that he can dissect the weakness of a hitter and then exploit that weakness with his pinpoint control. He's just a master and an artist on the mound.
And he is looking to snap a streak of 12 winless starts. His last win came on May 10th against Colorado. Since that date, he is 0-5, 7 no decisions, an ERA that is just over 4. But we saw that the run support last night for Jake Peavy not as good as it needs to be. And it's been that way this season for the future Hall of Famer Greg Maddux. It's Braden Looper, it's Maddux, it's the Cardinals, it's the Padres. Game 2 of this 4-game set right here on FSN Midwest.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back inside Busch Stadium. Cardinals Padres, Dan and Al with a call coming up next. But in the meantime, let's check what else is going on around the league. And we start with the Cubs. They get their second half underway tonight in Houston. Ted Lilly takes them out at Minute Maid Park against Brian Moeller. Chicago begins tonight with the best record in baseball and holds a 4-game lead over the Cardinals in the Central Division. The Cubbies, though, just 20-26 on the road this year. Later tonight, CC Sabathia makes his third start as a Brewer as Milwaukee kicks off their second half in San Francisco. Sabathia tossed a complete game his last time out and improved to 2-0 as a Brewer. Sabathia will be making just his second career start against the Giants. Next week, he's scheduled to take them out in St. Louis for Game 3 of the huge 4-game set between the Cards and the Brewers. So look at the rest of the National League. Top of the fourth, and the Reds leading the Mets 1-0. Bottom of the third, Philly over Florida 3-zip. And scoreless between Washington and Atlanta. That game is in the bottom half of the second. After the game on the post-game show inside the Cards clubhouse for player reaction and Tony La Russa's post-game press conference. Plus, Rick and I break it down. And Friday, so we hand out the weekly Hungo Award. Cardinal baseball, Dan and Al next.
The Cardinals and the San Diego Padres meet in the second of their two series meetings here in 2008. Their lone matchup at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals win by a run last night in dramatic fashion late in the game. Ryan Franklin would close it out in a 4-3 victory for St. Louis. Can they make it? 2 wins in a row. Braden Looper gets the start. Baseball next on FSN. Baseball tonight on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. By Auto Tire. For the lowest prices in town, 26 locations to serve you. You ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros. By Steak and Shake. By Geico Direct. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. And away we go. It is game number 2 between the Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. Jody Garrett to lead it off. First pitch, base hit, line drive into center field. First pitch at 7:14. 1 pitch and a base hit off the bat of Jody Garrett. Rico starter for the Cardinals. It's Braden Looper. 9-7 is his record. ERA of 4.25. And he is in his second year in the rotation. And really, there have not been a lot of bumps in the road along the way for Braden Looper here in year 2.
His 50th career start tonight, 623rd appearance. He's lost his last 2 starts and hasn't won in 3 weeks.
Edgar Gonzalez digs in. He homered last night. Real nice win for the Cardinals with 4 solo shots. And we saw early on there the numbers for Gonzalez that Kyle Loge probably didn't have his best stuff with a 30-pitch first inning, but he gutted through that. And he gutted his way to win number 12.
Great to see that. Kyle Loge was talking about the struggle, but finally figured it out. And you see, you win 7 innings and everything falls in place when your starter does that.
90 degrees here in St. Louis. Kyle Loge 12-2. He has lost only twice basically in the last year. You have to go back to late July, his last loss prior to this season, coming into this season. And a pick off at first. Garrett is back in there. And of course, Pujols with that quick tag, and Loge has only lost twice wearing the birds on the bat. It's a timing play between these two, and they've got it down to a perfect science.
They really do. 23 pickoffs to lead the major leagues for Yadier Molina, and that was very, very close.
I'll say he was out.
Well,
I don't get a vote.
Well, Bruce Druckmann and overruled you.
Up the middle, another base hit into center field. So back-to-back singles to start this game. And let's take a look at the San Diego lineup. As we talked about last night, they have struggled offensively this year. They released Edmonds. They've made changes in the middle of their lineup. We'll highlight Adrian Gonzalez, who's having a great year. 17 games against the Cardinals in his career. 3 home runs, and he's hit .351. Garrett, Gonzalez, and Giles. Then it's Gonzalez again. That's Adrian. And then Kuzmanov, Headley, Greene, Hundley, and Maddux. Always fun to see the future Hall of Famer Greg Maddux.
It sure is. I mean, he's just a class act. You enjoy watching him pitch, and really, when you talk about one of the top pitchers in the history of the game.
And he's done all of it. He's only 4 wins away from Roger Clemens. He's done all this in the steroid era for the most part.
Well, and a home run era.
Yeah.
You know, just where massive amount of scoring, but he's just a machine out there, and what a true professional both on and off the field.
And you have to wonder about where he will finish up this season, and if indeed this will be his last year. He prefers to stay on the West Coast, but You wonder if the Atlanta Braves would be in contention and need pitching. Would he go back to Atlanta? What about the Chicago Cubs? Could they use him? Would he go back there for a third time?
Being a pennant race, I'm sure he would.
Yeah, I agree. He's been doing it since 1986. What's 2 more months somewhere else? The 2-1 pitch. Line drive into center field. Ankiel will back up, and he makes the catch. Garrett will tag up from second to third. Runners at the corners with 1 out. Another hard hit ball. Let's take a look at the Cardinals defense tonight. Around the Horn, as always, is brought to you by Auto Tire. And for the Cardinals, it's Schumacher in left and Keel in center. Ryan Ludwick getting the start tonight in game 2. He's in right. Gloss is Turris on the left side of the infield. Ryan and Pujols on the right side. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Defeated the Padres back on May 21st. 5 innings in that game. When he is right, lots of ground balls. And he needs one right here to try to get a double play.
Thinking right with you, partner. He's induced 12 double plays this season. And is tied for 13th most in the National League, and he could use one now.
Adrian Gonzalez, again, what a year he has had. 1 out, runners at the corners. And this guy with 22 home runs and doing it in one of the biggest ballparks in Major League Baseball at Petco Park in San Diego.
Plays every day, leads all Major League players in innings played in the field. He's tied for first in the National League, with this being his 97th game played. And against Looper, he's 5 for 10 with a pair of home runs.
The Padres 14 and 29 on the road. That ties him with Colorado for the fewest away wins in the major leagues. 22 games overall under 500 for the first time since the end of the 2003 season, when they finished last in the National League West. Rough year for Bud Black.
I joked with Bud. I said, you know, I'm not going to ask you about your team because I know you're still trying to know them.
A lot of new faces.
He said, oh, about 13 of them. And I said, well, how about the 9th inning? Cardinals and Ryan Franklin were facing the Portland Beavers. And that was it. There was 3 minor leaguers that went up there to hit.
Bruce Bochy, a number of years in San Diego, guided them to the World Series back in 1998. They lost to the Yankees. It seemed like they always hooked up with the Cardinals in postseason play. They did in '96, a couple of times recently here in the mid-2000s. But the Cardinals and Tony La Russa, since he has been here, divisional play, they have just dominated the playoffs. The first round has been all Cardinals. 3-1 the count. You talked about it last night, and I'm sure we'll get a good look at it here. Adrian Gonzalez stands way off the plate.
I was kind of surprised when I saw how far off the plate he was. Kuzmanov, you know, the on-deck hitter, but
he's back in the box. He's basically on the chalk.
On the chalk line, but it looks like he's, you know, really almost 10 inches away from the line.
And this pitch is popped up. What a big out this would be. Molina has a play. There it is. Out number 2, and a big out here in the top of the first.
And that's a good pitch by Looper. He stands so far off the plate, but you go inside. You know, you don't hit the corner. You go about 6 inches inside. And he swings at it.
So 2 outs, runners at the corners for Kevin Kuzmanov, who's hitting .277. 12 home runs and 40 driven in. Two outs, runners at first and third for Kuzmanov. Just underway here in St. Louis. Scorching afternoon. Cooled off a bit, 90 degrees or game time temperature. Pretty much the same thing that happened last night. As the game moved forward, cooled off a little bit, really became a nice night. Fastball misses up and away.
Kuzmanov swinging a hot bat. 12 hits in his past 30 at bats with 5 doubles.
And the reason that was such a big out with Gonzalez, he leads Major League Baseball. Everybody, 24 of his 71 ribbies have put his team ahead at the time of the RBI. And arguably their most dangerous bat is retired. 1 ball and 1 strike. Back-to-back singles by Garrett and Edgar Gonzalez. They stand at first and third. Giles lined out to center. Gonzalez popped out. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Ball kind of got away from Looper and awkwardly caught by Molina. And a ball up and in to Kuzminov. You always got to watch out. He is 1 away from tying the franchise record already this year by being hit by pitches in a season.
The 2-1. Kuzminov out to deep left field, but that'll stay in the ballpark. Schumacher is back near the track and puts it away. Padres strand 2. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first, and there's no score. And we're back. It's the bottom of the first here in St. Louis. Mara is 21 tonight. Be safe. Have some fun here at the ballpark. We'll highlight Troy Gloss this month. 6 home runs, 11 RBIs. He told us, Al, we should have believed him. When the weather gets hot, he gets hot. And that has been the case.
Well, it's hot, and so is he. As he's been on a torrid pace. He's 6 away from 300 in his career. Of course, 300 was eclipsed by Maddux a while back, as he has not won in 12 starts, but very little run support. 350 career wins for this future Hall of Famer.
He is our Rico starter, and a foul tip off the bat of Skip Schumacher. Nothing, it seems like, is over the middle of the plate. Lots of movement, late movement, in and out, up and down. He can be as tough as anybody in baseball.
Well, they say actually he's making a few mistakes, but you know, he's been around a long time, and he's really not much more than a 5-inning pitcher now. So he's looking to snap that streak of 12 winless starts. His last win was 350. That was on May the 10th at Colorado.
Schumacher takes a strike. May have been a little high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He was 1 for 4 last night, and he was robbed by Headley in left of the second base hit in the game. The Cardinals did not have an at-bat with runners in scoring position in last night's game. It was 4 solo home runs. Headley in left to make the catch. And let's take a look at the defense behind Greg Maddux on this hot night in St. Louis. Headley in left, Garrett is in center, Giles in right, Kuzminov and Greene on the left side of the infield. Gonzalez on the right side, Edgar and Adrian. Hundley is behind the plate.
That's 727 career starts. This is 57th start, 58th career appearance against the Cardinals.
And here's Ryan Ludwick. Did not get the start last night for Tony La Russa, fresh off the All-Star game.
There are a lot of people who are wondering about that, but the fact is Jake Peavy really owned right-handed batters, so he had the 3 left-handed swinging outfielders, and then we proceed to get 3 of the 4 home runs off bats of right-handers. So.
What's interesting too is that, you know, Tony always looks at the numbers, and Ludwick has 8 home runs, 6 doubles, 23 RBIs in 19 games against the National League West this season. 441, that's what he's hitting against the West. 251 against the rest of baseball, and that is a foul ball. It's our third base umpire, Jerry Davis. Had a nice conversation with Jerry before the game. Said he always loves coming through St. Louis. He's been doing it a number of years, and one of the better ones in baseball.
He's known your family for decades, right?
He's behind home plate as a young lad one time, Al, with the old Busch Stadium, and Bruce Sutter closed out a game, and Jerry Davis found me and gave me the game ball afterwards.
Oh, you're about 2 years old?
No. Give me some credit, Al. I'm actually growing up in front of your eyes. Strikeout of Ludwick, and that is the second out here in the first.
Well, you talk about painting the outside corner. There's a good example of it. And over 3,000 strikeouts, less than 1,000 walks, and to my knowledge, he'd be only the second to Fergie Jenkins to accomplish that feat.
Albert Pujols with 2 outs and no runners on. Off speed pitch at 77 miles an hour. Strike 1. Ho hum for Albert, batting .348, 18 home runs and 50 driven in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. I've had some fans recently say, boy, Pujols, it just doesn't seem like it's an Albert type year.
No.
And then you look up at the numbers, he's hitting .350 after the All-Star break.
And, you know, and he spent time on the disabled list.
Here's a 1-1. Pujols chops it left side, base hit, past Khalil Greene and into left.
It's interesting the way that Kuzminov pulled up on that ball, thinking maybe his shortstop might be able to play, but definitely the only one that had a chance for it was the third baseman. So that balance and just a pitch up a little bit, but it's only a single with 2 outs. See the movement as the catcher's glove goes to the inside part of the plate, but Albert's hands stay back and at the ready.
This guy has been ready as of late. Troy Gloss. Line drive, base hit, left center field. Pujols on his way to second base. On his way to third. They will hold him up, and Pujols will stop at third. So a double for Troy Gloss, the hottest bat right now in this lineup.
Boy, he is swinging a bat.
Initially, when you saw this get into the gap in left center, you're thinking Pujols maybe tries to score.
And you still got to remember, Albert's not 100% with his legs, so, you know, he's going to give you all the effort he has, but he still has to play with a little bit of restraint.
Rick Ankiel talking with Mark Grace on our pregame show. He'll be covering the game for Fox tomorrow. It's Fox Saturday Baseball. He said he struck out against Ankiel, but really just cannot believe this story. Base hit, center field. 1 run is in. Gloss on his way home. 2-0 St. Louis. A 2-out single by Rick Ankiel. RBIs 52 and 53.
Home runs are great, but you like to see the 3 consecutive base hits and not be dependent on home run balls all the time. Another pitch that's up a little bit. Just a nice controlled swing by Rick, just guiding the ball out to the center of the diamond. And that's what they talked about. You know, in his 23rd year in the big leagues, Maddux is getting some of his pitches up and not quite as effective in the past.
Yadier Molina on the first pitch, pops it up. Gonzalez, the first baseman, calls for it in fair territory and has it. The Cardinals strand a runner. That's Rick Ankiel, but Ankiel picks up 2 RBIs. When he drives in a run, the Cardinals are 23-9 this year. This date in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. Enos Slaughter collects his 2,000th career hit, a 14-6 loss to the Dodgers. July 18th, 1953. Enos Slaughter with our This Date in Baseball history. Cardinals have grabbed a 2-0 lead. In just a moment, we'll visit with Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer. He's got a nice event coming up to benefit children here in St. Louis. We'll do that in the 3rd inning. But we're lucky enough that he joins us in between innings to chit-chat.
Wow, and knowing Lou, of course, I turned around and talked to him about a charity event that I've got, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as the night goes along. And of course he goes, hey Al, you got to come with me to this meeting for the Backstoppers. And that's another great organization that we all should support in our community.
And for Lou, it'll be the Echo Foundation Fund.
And we're going to play in his tournament.
Yes, we are. The 2-1 is tapped foul, 2-2. Looking forward to that. It's an off day too for the Cardinals, so hopefully some of the players and management, Tony La Russa, will hopefully be there as well.
Looper gave up a couple hits, but knuckled down and did not allow them to score, and his teammates rewarded him with a pair in the first.
Tied him up on this pitch, and the catch made by Esturis, who flips to Schumacher, and they'll go around the horn. A couple of pitches by Maddux, as you noted during the breakout, were up, and the Cardinals took advantage.
Yeah, I talked to Hal McRae, and I said, have you seen anything different with Maddux? And he emphasized the fact a lot of pitches are up, and that's what they're looking for. You know, you don't get many chances against Maddux, and take advantage of it.
1 out, and that pitch is up for a strike.
You know, somehow, some way, he will be competitive through this contest.
Out to deep right field. Ludwick is back at the wall, and it's just over the wall. It's a home run. Khalil Greene, opposite field, number 9 of the season.
It's a little more indicative of the electric bat that Khalil Greene has and not his .214 average. This guy can be a very exciting player, but his average is way down.
Cuts the lead at 2-1. Here's the pitch from Looper, the home run pitch.
And this pitch is up. And Ludwick trying to give an all-star effort, but it just snuck over the wall.
Home run number 9, RBI number 33, and it cuts the lead to 2-1. And it's their catcher, Nick Hundley. It'll be Fox Saturday Baseball tomorrow, and that is a foul ball. Then on Sunday it'll be with Ricky Horton and Jay Randolph. They'll be on Channel 5 and the Cardinals television network, and a big series coming up. Milwaukee in town beginning Monday night, the first of 4. Good seats are still available. That home run breaks an 0-for-23 streak by Khalil Greene. Not related to Randy Hundley, if you're curious. Pitch in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Might hit like Randy. He's batting 200.
Oh, ow. You have come out tonight with guns a-blazing. The 1-2 pitch.
Doesn't quite have the power of Todd Hundley.
Yeah. Well, that's a pitch that in years past has been a strike, undoubtedly, for Glavine and Maddux, as they made a living on that outside corner. That is just outside, 3-2. And a lot of people believe that Atlanta didn't have that great run of World Series championships because the strike zone, once postseason play started, it changed for those guys.
And there is some validity to that, you know, as managers would make such a point to bring them back into the strike zone. You know, a lot more critical analysis as the scrutiny, and they didn't get away with. But I mean, I'll tell you what, those guys were such great pitchers. They lulled the umpires into, you know, drifting out there and getting a wider strike zone, sometimes to a joking matter, but you know, those guys earned that right.
3-2. City of St. Louis is on the clock for the All-Star game next year. They say the economic impact will roughly be around $60 million. The 3-2 pitch. Oh yeah, he got him. Strikeout of Nick Hundley. First strikeout tonight for Braden Looper. Not sure what he's waiting for, looking for here on this pitch.
Just right there down the middle. Bit out toward the outside portion of the plate, but as you said, should be looking for a fastball. Maddux not hitting as well as he has in the past.
And a fly ball hit to right. Ludwick under it, makes the catch. Isturis, Looper, Ryan. 7, 8, 9 coming up. Khalil Greene with a home run cuts the lead at 2-1. Al, you wouldn't believe it, but Sunday night is television's biggest night. Summer sports block beginning with the Hooters Dreamgirls, then baseball's golden age, followed by amazing sports stories, and finally the Best Damn Top 50. The summer sports block begins Sunday at 7, only here on FSN Midwest. Cesar Isturis is the first hitter for the Cardinals against Greg Maddux here in the bottom of the second. The Cardinals owning a 2-1 lead thanks to Rick Ankiel, his RBI single in the first with 2 outs to score 2.
Isturis has had some mild success against Maddux. Switch hitter, made 277 right-handed, just 206 left-handed, and 233 overall.
Tell you what, Lou still got great hands. He's still got the hands. From our position here in the booth, Al, I threw it about I'd say 2 feet wide. He was in the middle of having a sip of water, reaching across his body, making a backhanded stab, and he picked up. Look at this. Lou, do it again. Even with a bag in his hand, he doesn't stop.
Yeah,
what's up with this guy?
The man has.
Let's get him back in uniform.
Over 3,000 hits, 938 stolen bases, and you're questioning his hands?
I never would question Lou Brock's hands, but I never envisioned myself throwing
plain
bags of peanuts at the great Lou Brock. But I've done it. Of course, you've been known
to throw peanuts at a lot of people.
I'm just making fans with Cardinal Nation up here.
You are.
That's what it's all about, Al. Having fun at the old ballpark.
People only knew about your speech to the masses before the game, our winning tradition.
It's really caught on in this particular part of the ballpark.
It definitely has in our booth.
It's a Friday night. The weekend is here. Lou Brock is going to be with us. And Maddux a check on Izturis over at first.
Kuzminoff playing in at third base, looking for the bunt.
And the bunt is back to Maddux, the Gold Glove winner, who tags out Looper.
Does he have 16, 17 Gold Gloves?
I think it's 16. That's another way you can win. Gets himself in great fielding position, and rarely does he make a mistake defensively. Join us Sunday, August 3rd for the Build-A-Bear Workshop Day here at Busch Stadium. Number to call for tickets, 345-9500, or visit us online at stocardinals.com. That game is now at 7 p.m. Also want to remind folks that have tickets for Monday night's game against Milwaukee to accommodate national television. Game has been bumped up an hour. Runner goes, throw to third, and the ball scoots away. So a stolen base for Izturis. Aggressive play.
Number 9 for Izturis to lead the team. And he just had a good jump. Nice throw here, but Kuzminoff could not hold on to it. No further advancement. Got that right-handed batter, and if he holds on to it, he might have slid right into the tag, but no, it looked like he was going to be safe either way.
Brendan Ryan, little chopper towards short. Greene over to his left, makes the play, and the Cardinals have their 2-1 lead back.
Dan, that's what I'm talking about. Do not be so dependent on the home run ball. You have to manufacture some runs, and Izturis with a walk, the sacrifice, the stolen base third, and then an infield RBI off the bat of Brendan Ryan, his 8th RBI. Give credit to Tony La Russa.
Fans really applaud that style of baseball. Hear the loud cheer for the ground ball, the small ball that the Cardinals just played, the sacrifice, the steal, an infield out, and a run scored. 3-1 St. Louis. The 0-1 pitch to Schumacher, make it 0-2. He flied out to left to start the Cardinals offensively back in the first. RBI for Brendan Ryan, his 8th of the year. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Maddux has allowed 16 of 18 runners to steal against him this year. Brendan Ryan, his first RBI in July. A swing and a miss. Schumacher strikes out, and coming up, a visit with the Hall of Famer, the great Lou Brock. 3-1 St. Louis. Tonight's ball game on FSN Midwest is presented in FSN HD, that is high definition. I've always said I wanted to have one of my dreams come true. Play catch with a Hall of Famer. If I can get a Cardinal Hall of Famer, even better. I just never thought it would be with the great Lou Brock playing catch with a bag of peanuts. But now that's my checklist is off by 1 now because of you, Mr. Brock. Great to see you. How are you?
Well, it's good to see you, although I was not expecting a bag of peanuts. So.
Well, not just 1, but 2. And you handled it with grace and ease.
Well, generally expect one, but two.
That is pulled down the right field line off the bat of Jody Garrett, just foul. And the Cardinals, of course, have a lead of 3-1. You've got a big golf tournament coming up, and it's great that we have a chance to have you here to visit. It's August 4th. And you will have that out at Forest Hills. Big dinner, big auction, big golf tournament, and it's going to a lot of great kids here in St. Louis.
Yes, in fact, this is our 16th year and with Echo Children Home and also Echo Foundation Fund that we're raising fund for. We've been at it about 16 years, as I pointed out. A lot of excitement, and at the same time, we help a lot of kids who are in need. EchoForKids.org is the way to at least to register online. Also the number 993-9000. That's 993-9000. And I know a lot of our fans are curious about this. It's an off day for the Cardinals as time is called by Edgar Gonzalez. So not only will you be there, but who else from the Cardinals will be representing the St. Louis Cardinals there? Well, we're working on the list. Right now we don't know. We're going to have what we call a putting contest so that the players who do come out won't have to stay all day, but by the same token, that would be putting for an organization or one of the teams. I've seen that kind of a contest at several golf tournaments. It's sort of interesting. Can you putt?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm coming.
All right.
And I plan on winning and taking the pot of money and then donating it back to the Echo Foundation.
Right.
Yeah, I would do that. Now, for people that don't know about the Echo Foundation, I mentioned it goes to children in St. Louis, but what exactly is the Echo Foundation?
Well, the Echo Foundation, the Echo Children Home, has been around since 1889, somewhere back in there. And it is a home for abused kids kids who are on the street, nowhere to go. It has always been a home for them. And so we got involved about 16 years ago, and we've raised money every year. And hopefully we can just do good for those who really are in need.
Well, we decided to have you on. We came up with this date a couple of weeks ago, and obviously we needed to match up schedules, and it just happened to have Greg Maddux on the mound tonight. So how much fun do you get watching a guy like Greg Maddux perform and doing what he's doing year in and year out here in the major leagues?
Well, as a hitter, you know, you have to approach him a little different. Early in the game, you can get to a guy like that. Mm-hmm. And consequently, we saw here tonight, we scored twice in the first inning, but you got to get to him. He finds a rhythm, and then suddenly everything he throws the bottom, I call it, the ball disappears.
Sure.
And it's not fair to a hitter to have a ball come looking like a fastball, and the next thing you know, it disappears. And we were talking about this just the other night with Ferguson Jenkins, Gibson, sure, and Gaylord Perry at the recent All-Star game, and all about the ball disappearing.
How much fun was the All-Star game for you?
Well, it was exciting. We were on a parade, and we got a chance to wave at probably looked like half of the world.
I'm sure it seemed like that.
City. Yeah.
That's a pulled foul off the bat of Brian Giles, who lined out to center. And again, for the 16th annual YTB Lou Brock Hall of Fame Golf Classic at Forest Hills Country Club, August 4th. Again, Cardinal players will be there, hopefully some from the management team. Al and I will be there. Number to call, 993-9000 to find out more. And of course, you'll be gracious enough, I'm sure, to sign autographs, take pictures, whatnot.
Yeah, well, that's part of the, as you know, when you go to a golf tournament, you have a golf tournament in your name, certainly you got to do all those things. But those people, too, come for the reason, and that is have a big heart to help.
No question. There's Ludwick, who made the All-Star team. And, you know, you were one of the guys. We had you on, I guess it was maybe second, third week into the regular season. Cardinals got off to a pretty good start. And you were one of the only people that said, I saw this team in spring training, and I thought, you know what, they're going to be pretty good. They've got a good manager. Pitching staff needs to come around. I like their lineup. And lo and behold, here they are, you know, final little stretch here of the regular season, just over 2 months to go, and they're 11 games above 500, Lou.
You know, that's the incredible part of it, and there's the man who anchored this whole thing, which is Albert Pujols. But the same token, they were a solid team in spring training, which means that the highs and lows was not there. When you see that team has a chance to compete, and certainly they are. I think the pitching really has surprised everyone.
No question about it. Starting staff in particular.
Yeah, and most of those that staff didn't come together until spring training, and they didn't even know each other. We got Lowe's come along, and I recall one day asking
what do you do? He said, I'm a pitcher. I said, I haven't seen you pitch.
Is that right?
Yeah, but that was all in spring training. We all had a chance to sit around and just chat baseball.
Well, he's 12-2 and picked up another win last night and surprising everybody. And, of course, the Cardinals have Carpenter coming around, Wainwright coming around. So if they're still in this thing in a month, you get those two big horses back. That could mean all the difference in the world.
Well, it certainly can because Wainwright, we know what he can do.
Sure.
Carpenter may be a question mark, but by the same token, when they all come back together, I would hate to be the manager trying to make a decision who I pitch.
Sure. We saw the Cardinals generate a run with a walk, a sacrifice, a steal, an infield out. The steal was of third base. How often, for our fans that don't know, especially our young fans, you were one of the great base stealers of all time. I mean, how often did you steal third, and was it harder or easier than trying to steal second base?
Well, I didn't steal third base a lot, so it
Right.
was harder. I probably stole third base about 36 times in maybe in my career.
There's a base hit into center. Ankiel will throw into third, and not in time. Strong throw. But go back to what you're talking about with the steals.
Well, stealing third base was a little tough for me simply because I had good hitters. They didn't like the fact that you stole third base.
Right.
And they say very often, we can knock you in from second. You just get to second. And so that was the whole idea. But in later years, you got a chance to steal third. So if you had to guess between the two, third base is a lot easier, but I tell you, it's hard to go in the dugout with your friends.
Sure, I bet it is.
Yeah.
There's Dave Duncan out to visit with Braden Looper. The great Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer, is with us, and always nice to have a chat with you. We just saw Rick Ankiel throw from center field. You saw Clemente play. You played against him. How would you compare the arms of some of the guys and the greats that you played against or saw to that of Rick Ankiel right now in center field?
Well, you're looking at a guy, and Keel, who is a good athlete. And a good athlete, he can throw, he can hit. Unfortunate for him, when he first came along, he's so good as an athlete, you had nowhere to put him. So you made him a pitcher. And now he has the best arm as an outfielder, one of the best arms in baseball. And he loves to throw. So you got to have a guy with an arm who loves to throw.
Oh, he loves to do that.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. And he had those two great throws in Colorado. We've seen him get great jumps. And maybe that's the most surprising thing for a guy that's trying to learn this position, for the most part trying to learn, in playing center field in the major leagues, and the jumps that he gets. Does that surprise you at all to see that he doesn't take many false steps out there?
Well, again, I'm amazed at the fact that he's adapted to that quite easily. Certain plays, he looked like Edmonds out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So he has good baseball sense, good judgment on the bases, good judgment in the outfield, and that's hard to do with a new stadium like the new Busch Stadium here. Which is developing his own personality, and at the same time, there's shadows that you don't know about, and Ankiel has done a pretty good job with that.
Tell our fans, for you being at the All-Star game, the entire process of what went on for you and maybe what we can anticipate happening next year.
Well, I saw half of the world in the parade, and hopefully if we do a parade, I think that's actually bringing the players to the fans, those who cannot get into a game, can't get a ticket to get a game. And this is one of the unique ways of baseball bringing the players to the fans. And you got what you saw on the field is all of the Hall of Famers coming out.
It was tremendous.
I got a chance to shake hands with Albert and all of the other kids who are in baseball. I call them kids. They were an all-star game and all-star team, and they all were excited. Yankee Stadium, last all-star game, all of those things. The big event itself for the closing of Yankee Stadium for the all-star game.
That was a base hit by Headley, and that's now 3 consecutive hits and a hit by pitch. And again, Echo Foundation, August 4th.
August 4th, we got a sponsor, YTB, going to be our first sponsor this time around. And certainly we are happy that they're the title sponsor. And we got a lot of people, hopefully, who could come out to this golf tournament and get involved with us. So we make an appeal to all of you who are listening. Called 933-9000. And actually, extension 125, you can get the person who really going to put your name down and at the same time ask you to to participate.
Goes for a great cause, and always wonderful to see you. You look great. Stick around. We'll play some catch. I've got more bags of peanuts to my left, so if you want to stay here, you're more than welcome to.
Well, that's what happened at Echo with kids once in a while. They just ask the question, you want to play catch?
Yeah, that's great, and I'm sure you oblige.
Yeah, oh, indeed.
Always good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lou. Great Lou Brock with us, the Hall of Famer. Still calls St. Louis home and doing some wonderful things for charity here in town. Well, the Padres have tied it up. It's 3-3. No balls and 2 strikes. And this pitch is popped up. Who wants it? Shallow left center. It'll be Rick Ankiel for out number 2. So Headley is out number 2. And it brings in Khalil Greene. Greene is homer tonight. Again, that number 993-9000. 993-9000. If you'd like to take part in Lou Brock's golf tournament coming up on August 4th. 2 outs for Greene with 2 runners on. And a pitch that's a strike on the outside corner. Always fun to visit with Lou Brock. Such a nice man. And I know the players get a kick out of it as well, seeing the Hall of Famer come through. The 0-1 pitch. Greene taps it foul, and that's strike 2.
Well, you and Mr. Brock, I guess when you got 3,000 hits, you wanted to see offense, huh?
Bam, there it was.
Wrong team was hitting.
And you have a fundraiser coming up tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little later in our telecast as Greene strikes out to end the top of the 3rd. But San Diego has tied it up. 2 runs here in the top of the 3rd, and it's 3-3. Pujols due up second. Baseball tonight on FSN Midwest is brought to you by your St. Louis area Kia retailers. Kia, the power to surprise. By Aflac. Aflac, ask about it at work. By Taco Bell's new Frutista Freeze. Available in 2 delicious flavors topped with Rio fresh strawberries. And by Bank of America, the official bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. Ludwick is swinging a miss, and we're underway here in the bottom of the 3rd. Always nice to visit with Lou Brock. I get a kick out of it. He's such a nice man, and
I was very
wears
fortunate.
that Cardinal red very proudly too.
Yes, and talking with lovely Reverend Jackie, talking how they came back from the weekend festivities, the All-Star festivities, and then getting ready to head up to Cooperstown next week for the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies.
Goose Gossage. Ludwick rips it into left field for a base hit. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout, and that's single. This week, Fox Saturday Baseball. Gonzalez and the Padres. That's Adrian. They'll take on the Cardinals. Albert Pujols. And that will be at 2:30 Central. Fox Saturday Baseball tomorrow. Matt Vasgersian will have the call with Mark Grace tomorrow at 2:30.
And I was very lucky as a young player that Lou kind of took me under his wing and taught me the ropes. You know, when you have Lou Brock and Bob Gibson and Joe Torre, and McCarver, Carlton for a while, and people like that, you know, when you're 20 years of age, it's you know, it's a little overwhelming.
No doubt. First pitch strikes. Brought to you by Chili's. He's faced 11 hitters, 9 first pitch strikes. But I'm sure you were smart enough to take in what they had to say and just be quiet.
Well, like I said, I was a nice little mama's boy, and then they corrupted me, and I've been thanking them ever since.
I bet. First pitch to Albert is taken low and away. Mark Grace was saying how great it was in the pregame show to visit with the Hall of Famers, and then he said, well, future Hall of Famers too, guys like Albert Pujols. You think about his numbers, if he stays healthy where they might be, some of the best ever. Something I've noticed here at the ballpark, and I don't know if you have as well, but similar to that of McGuire, with every time that he comes up, the flash bulbs are popping. Seems like every at bat now. Now it's even past 300. That seemed to get it going, but every time he's up, you see it.
Well, longevity, and you know, I mean, he's. I would like to think maybe at the third of his career. 23, 24 years.
1-1 pitch.
What would his numbers be? But you talk about a model of consistency, and the Hall of Fame is that. You know, this is his 8th season, and you have to have 10 years to even be eligible. Maddux is in his 23rd year, 350 wins.
And they're two guys that just don't seem to get hurt very often either. Here's a 2-1. Pujols off the glove of Maddux into center. That's going to help Ludwick get all the way to third. It slowed it up. A base hit for Pujols, a near double play, and I'm sure Maddux wishes he had that one back.
You know, you get into a situation, and you know you're looking for a double play ball. You get a ground ball, you really can't fault the pitcher because he got what he wanted. It just found a hole.
Big moments in sports, better in person. And this September, you can witness some of the world's best golfers: Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson, the BMW Championship. Tickets are limited, so order yours today at bmwchampionshipusa.com or 847-724-4600. Here's Troy Gloss. Doubled his first time up. Cardinals are ready with 5 base hits against Maddux. A 3-3 game. Gloss on the first pitch. Pops it up. Shallow left. Headley makes the catch. Baseball clinics. The Cardinals Alumni Kids Clinics coming to Afton Athletic Association July 22nd and 24th. For more information, visit stlcardinals.com. That's a pitch that looked like Troy Gloss would launch.
Sometimes you'll get the pitch, your eyes light up, and you just get a bit underneath it.
One out for Rick Ankiel. 2 RBIs tonight with his single with 2 outs back in the first. Runners at first and third. Ankiel got a piece. Foul tip, strike 2. It's 2 pitches that were away. Last pitch at 77 miles an hour. Now we've seen Maddux out with these lefties at times where that pitch will start out at the knees of the hitter and then tail back in on the inside portion of the plate, and they are just locked up and frozen.
He really has perfected that pitch to where the left-handed batter gives up on it, and there's probably maybe a throw to first base. It's always my favorite pitch. Knock the guy down. You flip the thumb like this, you knock the hitter down. But today's baseball, it's throw to first.
So 2 pitches away, and let's see what he wants to come with here on 0-2. Away again. They set up outside, and here comes the 0-2. Bounced in the dirt. Hundley, nice play to keep it in front. Cardinals at one point led 2-0, then 3-1. The Padres tied it up 3-3. The Cubs in the top of the 5th against the Astros, lead at 1-0. Keep an eye on that ball game. Milwaukee is in San Francisco tonight. And Hundley can't get together with Greg Maddux. Now, tell me what happens in this conversation. If you're Nick Hundley, you're talking to a guy with almost 800 starts, all the wins. If I'm Nick Hundley, I just go out and say, wait a minute, I'll put down whatever you just tell me, what do you want?
No, that's what you say is Mr. Maddux, I'm a little confused. What would you like to throw here?
Yeah.
And I will oblige.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. It's out number 2. Tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. New episode of Cardinals Crew will show you highlights from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Fantasy Baseball Camp. Cardinals Crew brought to you by Shriners Hospitals for Children. Tomorrow at 11, Monday and Wednesday at 2:30. right here on FSN. So back-to-back singles, and then Gloss flied out, and a strikeout of Rick Ankiel, and Molina falls behind 0-1.
And it popped up the first time on a pitch that was up. But a lot of times he'll do the damage with 2 outs. Very productive 2-out hitter.
How about Molina batting well above 300 now? He's at 311. The 0-1. Hit to short. Khalil Greene with plenty of time. Settles and throws. A strike over to first. Cardinals strand 2. They have stranded 3 on the night. Hundley, Maddux, Garrett coming up. All tied up as we move to the 4th. Top of the 4th. It's 3-3 and away we go. First pitch by Looper is a strike. Nick Hundley struck out his first time up. It'll be Hundley, the 8th place hitter. Then Maddux and Garrett. 3-3 game. There's a line drive that's pulled foul and into the seats. Cooled off a little bit here tonight. Another packed house on this Friday night here in St. Louis. Glad you're with us on FSN Midwest. Dan McLaughlin, Al Rabosky with you. And here comes an 0-2 pitch. Pulled foul again.
Got the young catchers, Hundley, who's facing Looper right now, and Carlin, but Josh Bard will probably rejoin the team next week. But Bud Black was telling me he's very concerned about Michael Barrett. Now, he fouled the ball off his face and had to have reconstructive surgery. But the fact that he is a catcher, that they're very concerned in long term, you know, being able to have the those fractures heal with foul balls and tips.
That'll go to the wall, and Schumacher will have to dig it out. It's a leadoff double by Nick Hundley. As you talked about earlier, Maddux can handle the bat, and that means sacrificing, and that would be a spot right here. Saturday, August 2nd, Creve Court camera photo night here at Busch Stadium. Gates open at 4:15. We hope to see you here. August 2nd, Creve Court camera photo night.
The accountant / librarian, Mark Grace, said Maddux should have been a librarian. Just a fierce competitor, great athlete, very good golfer, but you see him in street clothes and you're totally unimpressed. But this guy is a winner.
He's up there to sacrifice. First pitch, a strike. Also a very good golfer.
Good golfer. Has 5 career home runs.
Lives in Las Vegas. No balls and a strike on Greg Maddux. Corners are in. Pujols is charging. The bunt to third is thrown away. Schumacher will fire to the plate. Pujols nice pick, and he throws that into center field. Maddux on his way to third. Ankiel's throw not in time. How about that? Greg Maddux winds up all the way at third, and San Diego leads it 4-3. Couple of errors on that play.
Molina's 7th error and Pujols' 3rd error, and maybe that was the game plan to wear him out on the base pass. But gets a sack down, and here you see Molina throws the ball wide of Gloss.
That's the first error.
That's the first error. And Schumacher gets it back here. Albert cuts it off, blindly throws, and way off the mark. So Maddux goes from second to third on the second error.
So sacrifice 2 errors on the play. And still nobody out. This is Jody Garrett back to the top of the lineup for San Diego, and they have the lead 4-3.
Yeah. These two teams have committed the fewest errors coming into tonight's action.
Garrett, a high fly ball out to right. Ludwick is back at the wall, and it's gone. A 2-run homer. Jody Garrett. And just like that, it's 6-3 in favor of the Padres.
Wow.
How quickly this game has changed.
And Tony is going to go out. We made some roster changes, so a lot of protection down there in that bullpen. Brad Thompson is warming up, and it looks like he's ready to enter this ball game.
Still nobody out. Padres have picked up the lead with 3 runs here in the top of the 4th. Baseball tonight on FSN Midwest is presented by Southwest Airlines. And what a change in this ball game. At one point, the Cardinals led 3-1. Now they trail 6-3. Our call to the bullpen is brought to you by Chevrolet. And it's Brad Thompson, a record of 1-2. This will be his 11th appearance, and the Cardinals have made some moves. And they have picked up Randy Flores, activated from the 15-day DL. Kelvin Jimenez has been recalled from Memphis. Joe Mather and Chris Perez option to AAA. And I guess maybe the biggest surprise is Perez. We knew that Flores was coming back, but Chris Perez, Al, needs to develop a secondary pitch. There's no other way to describe it. Is a lot of these major league hitters are just sitting on that fastball.
Well, he's going to have a very successful major league career, but he's gone back with the instruction to improve and work on that slider. Don't even really be concerned so much for the results. And a good start for Brad Thompson. So in some ways it wasn't surprising at all for me. And there's a good slider. Keep that ball down there, and Brad, when they make contact, is going to get his ground balls, and when he does that, he usually is very, very successful.
So a rough outing for Looper tonight, as he gives up 8 hits and 6 runs.
And then you have Mather sent down and bring another fresh arm, and I think that's the key.
There's a broken bat and a base hit into right off the bat of Giles. I believe that is a maple bat there that was flying towards Albert Pujols.
Well, you almost every time you see a ball shattered like that, first thing you think of is a maple bat. So see if he hits it off the end of the bat. Not as far on the end as I thought, but just sawed him off, and that barrel goes flying.
Here is Adrian Gonzalez with 1 out. I told you I talked to a bat maker yesterday of maple bats, and they said primarily their business in dealing with major leaguers now is with the maple bats. And they had a few theories as to why the maple bats are shattering. One, they said cold weather earlier this season, more people throwing cutters, and probably the most logical, the variance in the weight from the end of the bat, the big barrels, and the small handles. That would seem to make the most sense.
Yeah, and that's why, when you think of something like that, if it's hit right off the end of the bat, it's just going to break in half.
A low strike, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike on Gonzalez. By the way, Giles is 2 for 3. Gonzalez with an RBI tonight. He's 1 for 2. The 2-1. Foul ball. 2-2.
Very first cup bat that I ever saw, Lou Brock got from Japan, and it was a totally different type of wood, and I don't know if it was somewhat bamboo or something, but it had a different stain on it and seemed like it was much harder. But it was the first cup bat where they hollow out the end of the bat and make a little cup in there to take a few ounces out.
And did you notice if the bat was breaking more?
I did not notice that. It seemed like it was a much harder wood than the ash bats of that era, and because of the finish on it, it seemed like it was much harder. But it was not. It had a very thin barrel, so it was more balanced also. So I don't remember it breaking.
Here's a 3-2. Instead, a check on the runner over at first, and that's Giles. But what's happening now is just ridiculous, and it needs to be addressed before a player. And it seems like an infielder, or you certainly get nervous about the pitcher, but also the potential of a fan that's here. They're following the flight of the ball or a ground ball. They're not even paying attention to the bat.
Well, the Pirate hitting coach, Long, was struck in the face by a portion of a bat when he
still
was
has nerve damage.
When he's in his face. And the other aspect of a maple bat is it does not have a distinct sound when it breaks.
It's a line drive foul.
You know how many times you're up here and you can hear a bat crack or break and you go, oh, there's a broken bat. Well, with a maple, it doesn't have that sound. So when he was watching his hitter hit the ball, he never looked for the barrel because he was watching the fly of the bat, because it didn't have a different sound. And then the barrel hit him in the face. Took about 17 stitches, and as you said, still has some nerve damage.
And a foul ball. I mean, I don't think you'd see them completely banned, but I do think there will be an adjustment with the levels of how they keep the weight and the length. I think they have to do something about it. And I would assume the players would agree too.
Well, you would hope so, but I mean, players are so superstitious, or they're so accustomed to, they don't want to deviate from anything. The other aspect is, with the popularity of the maple bats, if you ban them, it would take a long time to replace all the maple bats and get people accustomed to using the ash or some other type of wood.
And what they're saying now is that if you look at the majority of young players, not all, but the majority of them, first, second, third-year players, they're almost all using maple because that's what they used in the minors. Deep center, Ankiel back on the track and makes the catch. Giles back to first. Good play by Rick Ankiel. And that was another hard hit ball. This is a series, if you're the Cardinals, in my mind, Al, you've got to take 3 of 4, if not try to sweep before Milwaukee gets here. Fair enough to say that?
I think it is, with a team that is so far off the pace. They're in last in the West, 10.5 games behind in a division with nobody playing .500 baseball. This is a team, and there's so many young AAA players here that have been decimated by injuries. You got to take advantage of it.
As we mentioned, Milwaukee playing at San Francisco tonight. The Cubs in the top of the 6th, leading Houston 1-0. Jim Edmonds with a home run. Here's the 0-1 by Thompson.
Knew that marriage would be good for him.
Oh, it's been great so far. 1 game and a home run. Third time this season that Looper has not lasted 5 innings. Excuse me, Al.
Yeah, you kind of doubt that this game is going to stay 6-3.
And that is just foul.
Remember, Maddux really, at this stage in his career, he's not much more than a 5-inning pitcher, even though through 3 innings he's only thrown 40 pitches.
We were talking with some of the San Diego folks. They say that their bullpen has really been disappointing in just about every facet. They miss a guy like Doug Brocail, who was very good for them. Clay Meredith has not been the same pitcher. It's tap foul.
Heath Bell is, the heir apparent to Hoffman, and Trevor, the all-time saves leader, is kind of nearing the end of his realm, and that's a tough transition to go from a guy that's been so great and such a cult hero in San Diego to kind of, even now at times he's been booed, and that was unthinkable.
Even for a guy like that, it's just such a tough spot, as Isringhausen can tell you. Either the hero or the GOAT when you're the closer. People really don't remember the guys in the 7th or the 6th, really the 8th, that give up the runs. It's always the 9th, as you can attest. 2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Strikeout for Thompson, his 2nd in the inning, 2nd on the night in relief of Looper. The air by Molina costly. Jody Garrett with a home run. Thompson then finishing off the inning with a strikeout of Gonzalez and then of Kuzmanov. 6-3 midway through 4. And here we go as Maddux will pitch here in the bottom of the 4th. That is the one and only John Reynolds.
Oh, my goodness.
Who has made his way from Los Angeles to St. Louis.
We are blessed to be in his presence.
If you follow us night in and night out, you know that during Blues telecast or our baseball coverage, John Reynolds, if we're out west, he is helping us.
And that is Tim Garcia's idol.
Understandably so. His tourist to short, Khalil Greene on a hop makes the play. Our What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light, and we will highlight the Sunday game. Tomorrow it is Big Fox at 2:30, and then Sunday at 12:30 on KSDK News Channel 5. Our Bud Light What's on Tap. And a strike. 6 runs scored tonight marked the most run support the Padres have given Maddux since his second start of the season. Is at San Francisco. He is the 5th lowest run support in the big leagues. Happy birthday to Kip Wyatt of Marshall County, Kentucky. Huge Cardinal fan whose dad grows the best sweet corn we understand around. How about that?
Happy birthday.
Kip Wyatt. On the outside corner and a strikeout of Brad Thompson.
4 strikeout for Maddux.
This year when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals, check out MLB.tv. Find out more at STLCardinals.com. Brendan Ryan with a ground out and an RBI. That was back in the second. And that made it 3-1 in favor of St. Louis. And since then, 5 unanswered by the Padres. They lead it 6-3. And a strike right down the middle.
Get in that batter's box, you better be ready because you're going to see a first pitch strike.
Little high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a 1-1. Little low, 2 balls and a strike. Our Geico quote tonight, Rogers Hornsby, to be a good hitter, you've got to do one thing, get a good ball to hit. Appropriate shooting Greg Maddux there.
Little this, little that, just has that ability to know what kind of like what speed a hitter is looking for and then how to disrupt it. Didn't want the changeup, fastball away.
2-2. Up the middle, base hit for Ryan.
See, Greg Maddux is also one of those guys too. He's got 2 outs, they got nobody on base. Why waste a changeup that maybe I'll need that the 3rd time up, and I'll just throw a pitch and I'm going to try and get a ground ball. Hopefully it'll be right at one of my fielders. It kind of stays up a little bit, and Brendan Ryan hit hard enough to get it past Gonzalez, the second baseman.
Strike 2, Skip Schumacher, the leadoff man who is 0 for 2. Flied to left and also struck out. Check on Brendan Ryan over at first.
Even though there were 2 errors committed in that inning, the final inning for Looper, all 6 of his runs are earned because of the Garrett home run following.
Winless skid right now for Looper.
It's been about 3 weeks since he's won. He's lost his last 2 starts. But look at Maddux. He's in 1 for 12 starts.
0-2 the count. Here's the 0-2. Base hit for Schumacher, opposite way.
Schumacher's had good success against San Diego this year in his career, flirting with about 400.
Brings in Ludwick.
Key at bat here with 2 outs. Ludwick and Pujols on deck. Ludwick struck out the first time, but reached Maddux for a single his last time up.
He's homered in 3 straight games, leads the team in home runs. Is 21, tied with Ricky Ankiel. 65 RBIs. Ludwick on the night, 1 for 2. Pujols on deck. It's Ryan's first multi-hit game since June 24th. Good speed, standing out at second base. Schumacher at first. Ludwick represents the tying run at the plate. First pitch to him. Ludwick, a high fly ball. Left center field. At the track, it's at the wall. Out of here! This game is tied. Ludwick, a 3-run shot, and it's 6-6.
In case San Diego didn't know, Ryan Ludwick's an all-star. His 22nd home run. That leads the team, and now 68 RBIs and an average better than 290. Maddux is kicking himself with 2 out, 3 consecutive hits, topped off by the 3-run home run.
Pujols on the first pitch. Hits it out of play. We saw that replay with the SunTrip.com cam. That's brought to you by the SunTrip Automotive Group.
Still only 56 pitches thrown, and how about, did he have Albert Pujols out in front on that foul ball?
Big time.
Albert hitting it over the visitor's dugout.
But this is where Pujols is so good to make that adjustment, even with a guy like Maddux.
Sure.
They set up outside the 0-1. A rocket into center field. Garrett, diving catch, comes up with it. Takes a hit away from Pujols. But a home run by Ryan Ludwick, a 3-run shot, number 22. RBI 66, 67, 68. Brand new game at 6-6. Monday, the Cardinals begin a 4-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers, and the entire series is on FSN Midwest. That'll be presented in high definition. Tune in Monday at 5 and Tuesday through Thursday at 6 on your home of the Cardinals, FSN Midwest. Right before the home run, let's take a look.
See, the young catcher comes out and talks to Maddux. They go over what they want to do. Kind of looked up like, you know, like something going on, and he may be out of this ball game.
Pujols will take it for the first out, and Chase Headley is retired. So Brad Thompson takes over for tonight's starter, Braden Looper, who only lasted 3 innings and gave up 6 earned runs.
There's activity in the Padres bullpen. Maddux is scheduled to be the 4th hitter this inning, so they may not get to him.
Khalil Greene looks at a strike. He has an opposite field home run.
Corey is warming up, a right-hander. Brian Corey.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Same spot, strike 2. Boy, what a year for, there's Brian Corey. What a year for Ludwick. A breakout year. It's taken a while to get to this point, but tremendous. Greene strikes out. Just look at his body language. That is not the same player we have seen in the past. Not talking about Ludwick, but Khalil Greene.
Khalil Greene, just in just way he's walking back, just defeated. Home run the first time up, but a pair of strikeouts since then, and that's a 3rd strikeout for Brad Thompson since he's entered this ball game.
3 pitches in the same spot.
Good sinking action there.
So 2 outs, and here is Nick Hundley. Hundley looks at an inside strike.
He got things started in the downfall of Looper in the 4th inning with a double.
Breaking ball just missed. We say this a lot, but it is a chance for Brad Thompson to showcase himself. Make a case to try to get more time on the mound.
Well, I think he's very valuable in this situation as a long man.
Yeah, I agree.
And Maddux is not the on-deck hitter.
So you presume that's it.
You really do, but
strikeout on the outside corner of Nick Hundley. Good work by Thompson. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 4 already in the game. 6-6 midway through 5. 6-6 game, and we remind you it's Fox Saturday Baseball tomorrow at 2:30 in high definition. Matt Vasgersian, Mark Grace, 2:30 on Fox. Also Red Sox at Angels. Fox Saturday Baseball. 6-6 game, bottom of the 5th. And a new pitcher is in for the San Diego Padres. Brian Corey in our Chevrolet call to the bullpen.
He's acquired from Boston in exchange for a player to be named or cash considerations. Primarily was with Pawtucket, AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox last season, and was a September call-up and had some success. Finds himself pitching here with San Diego.
The pitch count wasn't high for Greg Maddux. You have to wonder if something was wrong with him.
Well,
hurt himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those situations where I don't think the pitch count really matters. He allowed 6 runs in 4 innings, 8 hits, and turned this game over to the bullpen. .57 pitches for Maddux, 42 of them strikes.
And the first pitch taken low and away by Troy Gloss. Gloss tonight has doubled and scored and also fly to left. Cardinals were able to get 4 solo home runs last night against Jake Peavy. Gloss a couple of times, and then tonight you've got Maddux. They've knocked him out after 4 innings. Big Dog is thinking along the lines of a lot of fans.
You talked about how this bullpen for San Diego underachieving, and we've seen the Cardinals bullpen have their problems, but we've also seen them be very good. So Brad Thompson throwing the ball effectively and taking command.
2-1 pitch. Base hit into right. Everything falling right now for Gloss. Seemed to be off the end of his bat.
I think you're right. I think not sure he really even saw this, but Corey starts him out with a slider for ball 1. Then comes back with a fastball, another fastball, and it looked like a slider off the end of the bat. A little better swing looking at the replay than where it looked initially. Gloss 2 for 3 tonight.
You know, his bat just seems quicker too than what we saw at the beginning of the year.
I think it's no doubt about it.
Rick Ankiel, nobody out, runner at first. Ankiel with a home run last night. Takes a ball down and in. Ankiel with a base hit back in the first, 2 RBIs, struck out in the 3rd against Maddux. 6-6 game. Glad you're with us here on FSN for game 2, this 4-game series. The 1-0 pitch. I saw Maddux, that last at bat with Rick Ankiel, everything was away. A lot of off-speed pitches, change-ups away. 2-0.
I think that is the book. If you have the ability to throw a good off-speed pitch and keep it away from Ankiel, that's your best choice. Right there.
Yep.
You make a mistake and you throw a fastball, and even though Corey's a right-hander, we've seen left-handers that have very good stuff that when they make good pitches, they get him. But if they make a careless pitch in the middle of the plate, look out, because he has the ability to take that one out.
2 balls, 1 strike.
There's the change up again, switches off to the slider.
Rick has also, you know, really shown the ability to hit mistakes up in the zone.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, he's geared so much for the fastball or something hard That's why he falls victim to the off-speed pitch, particularly down and away. But if you make a mistake, he can hurt you. Here's another slider.
Popped up along the infield. And that's the first out. Brings in Molina.
And I really think today's pitchers, on an average, do not have the ability to spot their fastballs or really exploit hitters' weaknesses.
Anytime Molina's up with a runner at first, you think about the possibility of a double play. Tonight he is popped out to first and also grounded out to short. 0 for 2, but still, as we talked about earlier, Al, here he is hitting .310 with 65 games to go.
And I think as he will develop the power, I'm not going to be a, maybe a 20-25 guy, home run type guy, but he'll be in double figures and consistently around 15, I think, as he matures.
I think you can go back to the postseason of '06 where he gained all that confidence. Hit and run was on. Gonzalez steps on the bag. That's his only play with a fair ball. Molina, good candidate to do that double play, or rather the hit and run, excuse me, to try to avoid that double play. And there's 2 outs, and here's Izturis.
There's a lot of different ways you can stand on the mound, but looks like Brian Corey has an idea that very rarely, it looks like he almost stands on top of the mound right there and then just puts his toe over it. A lot of people want to put here and almost dig a little trench to where they can push off, but you don't get very much leg drive when you're standing there.
He also has that extra protective right in the front of his right foot, that little extra rubber that you see.
Yeah, because he drags the toe right there, but instead of being in front of the rubber.
What do you call that, Al?
Pitching toe. Very tough, Dan.
That right there is called a pitching toe.
Pitching toe. It's very scientific, isn't it?
I just could not get that
terminology.
No, it just never came to me. Pitching toe. Pitching toe. I've got it. I'm ready to move on. 6th inning coming up. Cardinal baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. By your local St. Louis Jeep dealers. And by Jack in the Box. We don't make it until you order it. Brad Thompson back to work. 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. It's a 6-6 game here in the top of the 6th at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis. Well, Thompson, so far so good, partner, with those 2 innings of work.
He came in and he's only allowed 1 base runner and struck out 4. So been keeping the ball down. Strikeout pitches are coming up empty. And he has the ability that you would think he's going to go 4 or 5 innings in this situation.
And the first pitch, a breaking ball. His last inning, very efficient. And on the night, Thompson has only thrown 30 pitches. That pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dan, as you look at the second half here, we're getting very good news on Carpenter and Wainwright. And there's no doubt in my mind that Carpenter is going to go into the rotation.
Well, he is. I talked to Dave Duncan about it.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like there was people who were speculating through the Morris deal. That's not going to happen. He's going to go in and he's going to be a real plus from the get-go. But I could envision a scenario where you put Wainwright back into the closer role. Interesting.
That would be very interesting if that would be the case. Hit short is Izturis. Long throw and an out. In talking with Dave Duncan, and I asked him specifically about it, would you like to see Carpenter take that road that Matt Morris did coming off the same surgery? And he said, absolutely not. Different case, and the way that he has been rehabbing and gearing up to be a starter, and that's the way it's going to be once he gets here.
And 100%. And just to accentuate that, you go back to spring training, they were thrilled when they saw him, and they've been doing everything they can to back him down. So, I mean, he will not take the full 30 days, and he'll be on the clock starting Sunday. But I would say,
two starts maybe?
I think you've got to give him a little bit, 3 to 4. But, I mean, once he comes back, and he'll be around mid-August, he's going to go right into that rotation, and he's going to be a big jolt and a big positive uplift to this ball club.
And while you see, Milwaukee get Sabathia and the Cubs get Harden, if you're the Cardinals, that's your trade.
Exactly.
For your starting rotation, then you start to work with your bullpen and maybe a bat.
And now, if everything falls into place with your bullpen and Franklin and Izzy and the supporting cast down there, if they're doing the job, you get another bonus putting Wainwright into your rotation. But if you still had some problems down there, I think you could put a lights out closer and have Wainwright just to finish this year.
There's a base hit out to left for Garrett, their leadoff man, with one out. The best damn sports show period is the greatest nightly sports show on television. Chris Rose, John Sally, and Miss Thompson, all part of it. The best damn sports show period. And that's tonight coming up following the postgame show here on FSN Midwest. So then you're saying there could be the potential of having, 3 guys that could close games out if you would go with Wainwright to the bullpen. Well, Franklin, Izzy, and then Wainwright.
And of course that in balls, and Thompson's just holding, trying to see what the batter's going to do. And Gonzalez here, but Garrett is 5 for 8 in stolen bases over at first base with a 3-hit night. Ron Bellone is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. They got a second lefty with Flores being activated. But a lot of that, is predicated on one, you have all your starters pitching effectively, and you still have a problem late in a ball game. And that really has not been a significant issue. Franklin's done a nice job. Izzy, I'm sure, is going to get some opportunities to close. But they are concerned about keeping fresh arms in that bullpen.
No balls and a strike on Edgar Gonzalez. We saw Wainwright when he was in the bullpen first time through. Boy, he was magnificent for the Cardinals.
And we like him in the rotation, but I mean, it's a situation where, because of this year, I think he would be the one that you put out there, and you'd like to think his arm's going to be fresh and be strong for the last couple, month and a half.
In the air to right field and a base hit. Ludwick trying to deke him. He'll fire into third base, and it hits the runner.
Bad break, because probably would have been thrown out as hit the runner and deflected away from Gloss, and so no chance to tag a runner going from first to third.
If you're Gonzalez, if you're running hard to first, shouldn't you be at second if that ball scoots away?
Well, you would think. And you've got the play in front of you. You can see that he tried to deke. Now he's going to come up and charge. It's a high throw, so no cutoff. So you're right. You should be out there at third base.
So runners at first and third. That's going to be it for Brad Thompson. Back-to-back hits. Giles coming up. Lefty coming in. It'll be Ron Bellone in a 6-6 game with one out here in the top of the 6th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Ron Bellone comes in there. First and third, one out. Last 2 appearances for Bellone have been situations like this. Come in to face one left-handed batter. He struck both of them out, including last night. But he's going to have to get 2 lefties here tonight.
Giles, couple of base hits. He's also lined out. Hit the ball hard every time up. First pitch, a strike. Cardinals, if you're just joining us, have activated Randy Flores, so another lefty is out there for Tony La Russa.
And also Jimenez has been recalled for the 3rd time, so another fresh arm in that bullpen. Russ Springer throwing behind Vallone.
Bullpen should be well rested. Coming off the All-Star break, the 0-1 pitch. Check swing. I think this is where you'd like to see Vallone with just the lefty-lefty matchups.
Yeah, when Ron is come in and been a left-handed specialist, he's done a very good job. Lefties are batting under 200 against him.
The 1-1 pitch, take it a little low. Hey, congratulations, by the way, to St. Louis and Jay Williamson. He is in a tie for 22nd at the British Open, makes the cut for the first time ever, the St. Louisan.
Had a great day today, didn't he?
How about the conditions, too? He's 5 over right now for the championship. Finished 2nd at the John Deere. Good block by Molina. The count runs to 3-1. You've got Gonzalez, Adrian Gonzalez on deck. David Duval and a guy named the Shark. How about that? It could be Retro Sunday.
This is
the British Open.
A very tough hitter for a lefty trying to trick a guy with your breaking ball because of the batting eye of Giles. You have to throw him strikes.
Base hit into right. Padres back on top. And that makes it 7-6 in favor of San Diego. That's the 4th hard hit ball by Giles.
He's such a good hitter and he's walked over 1,000 times, so he's always going to be in a hitter's count. Make him throw a fastball and he can turn on.
Runners at first and second with 1 out. And here is Adrian Gonzalez. He's flied out. He is singled with an RBI. He's also popped out. Outfield shades him to pull with 1 out. Check swing did not go, says Jerry Davis, third base umpire. Still a long ways to go in this game. San Diego has out hit the Cardinals 12-9, and they lead it 7-6. Two lefties, as we mentioned, Al, out there for Tony La Russa. Why do you think Vallone was the choice?
Well, because Vallone has done the job of late, and Tony La Russa has confidence in him facing the lefty. You know, you just brought Flores off the disabled list. He did make 3 appearances, did not allow a run in 4 innings of work, but Vallone's been the hot hand.
Opposite field, pretty well hit down the left field line. It'll slice and get out of play. Two balls and 1 strike. Cubbies now tied up, bottom of the 7th, 1-1 with Houston. Mentioned that Jim Edmonds has the RBI for Chicago with a home run. Houston got close for a little bit after about 2 months of play, and they have faded.
That one. The rotation was suspect, and with Oswalt having a problem with a hip injury, they are really having problems. But they have a ton of offense, but they've been disappointing too.
Win last night, so the Cardinals are 4 games out. Milwaukee 5 games back. Cardinals lead in the wild card. Cubs lead the division, best record 57-38. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball, Pujols backhands. That's one on to first, and he stays on the bag. Double play. Nicely done by Ron Vallone. 3-6-1 double play. Not an easy double play to be turned here by the Cardinals. First of all, the backhand by Albert Pujols, then Vallone quickly a race to the bag, and then trying to find the bag. The stretch and a nice play. That's an athletic play there by Ron Vallone.
Are you sure?
Yes, it was. He's left-handed. He's a pitcher. It was an athletic play. Suntrip.com camera brought to you by, I knew where you were going, brought to you by the Suntrip Automotive Group. I knew exactly where you were going.
That could surface in kangaroo court, a play like that.
You know, it's a Friday night.
And it's a hungo.
That's right. You know what Friday nights.
You never know. That could.
You know what they bring.
You're thinking that's a competition, huh?
He's lefty. He's in the bullpen. I'd say he's the clubhouse leader right now.
You never know.
And 7-6 in favor of the Padres here in the bottom of the 6th, and this is Adam Kennedy. First pitch is a strike. Really not a bad seat in the house, including the one right behind us. The 0-1 pitch. Kennedy lines out to third.
New pitcher is Adams. Mike Adams, who appeared in last night's ball game. He'll come into this action.
I know some of the folks here at the ballpark, they were treated to an outstanding meal thanks to the fine folks here at Busch Stadium.
Brendan Ryan got an RBI ground out, his first time up, and a base hit.
Trying to bunt his way on, and that's a foul ball. He does that an awful lot, but I'm not sure that we've ever seen an actual bunt single by Brendan Ryan.
The do factor.
I like it.
You definitely do, because he hasn't hit one yet.
Some of the folks here at Busch Stadium here to watch batting practice.
And kind of found their way into a meal, huh? A free meal?
Oh, yeah, you never know. I mean, the fine people here at the ballpark willing to treat anybody. No balls and 2 strikes on Brendan Ryan.
Mr. Reynolds learned something in school in Missouri, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's really not, I don't know.
Tim Garcia's idol?
Tim learned an awful lot from John Reynolds, our good buddy. Here's a 1-2 pitch. But the amazing thing is there's so many nooks and crannies here at the ballpark. You can just find all kinds of different food and with different ways to get a meal here.
And that cashier really, doesn't mean anything, huh?
Brendan pops it up and foul behind home plate.
Especially when he has a friend like Dan McLaughlin to take care of the damages.
We need to talk.
There he is.
Surveying the scene. 2-2 pitch outside.
Knucklehead Productions wins another.
Oh, yeah. 3-2 is the count on Brendan Ryan with Skip Schumacher on deck. Brendan with the RBI, also runs scored tonight in a single. 1 out, nobody on, and Brendan is still looking for that first home run here in 2008. 3-2 pitch and a walk. Didn't miss by much, but it's a 1-out walk. Be a Cardinals baseball player. Only a select few are chosen, but everyone can be part of the fun. Sundays at Busch Stadium during the 2 hours prior to every home game. Enjoy fun games, great prizes in the Ford Plaza, compliments of the Science Center. Ticket information, number to call is 345-9000, or visit us online at stlcardinals.com. Schumacher is 1 for 3. See if the Cardinals want to do a little running here with Brendan Ryan. Skip Schumacher, after the All-Star break a season ago, hit .369. That was best in the major leagues. Hit out of play. Strike one. See Brendan Ryan over at first. He'll be hopping around over there as he takes his lead.
Just a lot of energy, a lot of fidgety.
And almost picked off.
And Brendan somehow finds himself the target of his manager and coaching staff at times, and I would say shorten up your lead.
It's pretty close.
He's got good speed.
No balls, one strike. Ludwick with the big shot in the game for the Cardinals, a 3-run homer to tie it up. Padres have regained the lead. Strike two on Schumacher. It's an RBI single by Giles in the top of the sixth. The 0-2 pitch. And another throw over. Brendan is back in safely, diving head first, and just in before the tag. The 0-2. Schumacher, base hit into right. Ryan on his way to second. Stays put. And with one out, here comes Ludwick. A chance to do some damage. Ludwick with 22 home runs. Number 22 tonight, back in the fourth inning, a 3-run shot.
It's nice to see that one. Tied the game at 6-all. Padres have come back and taken a 1-run lead, but got a chance here to do some damage.
You see that swing. He just loads up on the backside and then just explodes.
And Balsley, the pitching coach, out to talk to Mike Adams. He missed all last season with a knee injury. Been in the big leagues with Milwaukee before.
U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is coming up after the game, and Hungo made his way to batting practice.
Oh, I was helping Skip, or he was, my alter ego.
So who are the candidates tonight?
Besides J.R. Reynolds, I'd have to say Mr. Vallone, if you convince me. Troy Glossaway swinging the bat. How about Ludwick? You know, his first All-Star game, 3-run home run here tonight. Could hinge on what he does in this at bat.
First and second with one out. First pitch to Ludwick is taken for a ball outside. Of course, he was at the All-Star game and took in the home run derby. The first round by Josh Hamilton. And I'm not a big fan of the home run derby. I think it's kind of worn off, the newness of it and how much fun it is to watch. But I absolutely loved watching what Josh Hamilton did at Yankee Stadium. That was something else.
It'll be fun next year when it's right
in
here.
person, it'll be different.
Yeah. Of course, the Fan Fest will start on the Saturday morning. Got the Futures game on Sunday. Home run hitting contest on Monday. Tuesday, the world of baseball will all be here in attendance. And I taught him that drill too.
Just looks weird. The 1-1 pitch to Ludwick.
Hungo or the drill?
I mean, no offense. Just a little odd, that shot. But that's your buddy Tony West. Who's come up with that shot. 2 balls and a strike. Runners at first and second. Ludwick, a big swing and a miss.
A hanging breaking ball that his eyes lit up but missed it.
On deck, it's Albert Pujols and lefty getting loose in the pen for San Diego.
Thatcher is their lefty.
2-2 the count.
Well, Springer has been throwing for a long time.
The next 2, Ludwick. Struck him out. And it's up to Albert.
Hey, we got to send away good well wishes to our good friend Don Thompson. Known Don a long time. He was the guard down in the bullpen section when at the old stadium, and he's been in the clubhouse for many years. Took over when Doggy Lynch passed away. But Don over the All-Star break broke his leg, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Sorely missed in that clubhouse, and I know, Dan, you can't wait to see Don and pass along your condolences.
Well, it's a leg injury. He'll be back.
It's broken leg. You know.
I'm looking forward to seeing him back.
Nice. It was a buck and bronco. They got him.
His lawnmower.
A John Deere.
Nice man. We want him back. 261 is Pujols' average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. He could tie it up and put the Cardinals on top. Here's a 1-0 to Albert. Third base is open. If you don't want to pitch to Pujols, you can load him up for Troy Gloss, but he's been swinging a hot bat. They are deep.
Well, we noted last night they have a tendency to play extremely deep anyway. Keeps on flirting with that hanging breaking ball. Troy Gloss just studying Adams.
Turn him loose on 3-0. If he likes it, he'll hammer it. 3-0 pitch. Way outside, and that's ball 4. Bases loaded for Troy Gloss. They didn't want anything to do with Pujols. Ryan stands at third base. Schumacher over at second, so good speed. Pujols over at first.
It's fine if you get the next guy out, but Troy Gloss swinging that hot bat.
As we talked about, arguably the hottest bat in this lineup is at the plate, Troy Gloss. Bases loaded. 7-6 San Diego with 2 outs here in the 6th. First pitch to him. A strike.
Troy's got a 7-game hitting streak, and during that time he is 16 for 26.
Did not like that first strike call. Falls behind 0-1. Shaking his head up there. The 0-1. Now in the hole, 0-2.
A lot of motion, and then that breaking ball. 6'5", 190. There's Mike Adams.
The 0-2. Wasted. 1-2.
Texas A&M versus UCLA.
This crowd is ready to erupt. The 1-2 pitch just missed. 2-2. Tough pitch to take right there from Adams.
Fastball and trying to hit the outer corner.
What will he see on 2-2 with the bases loaded?
Probably see his slider here.
There it is. Got him to chase, and he strikes out with the bases loaded. Throws the bat. And the Cardinals have stranded 7. They strand the bases loaded. There's your slider. Troy chased it. 7th inning coming up. Top of the 7th rolls in at 7-6 in favor of the Padres. New pitcher in for the Cardinals, Russ Springer. This will be his 40th appearance.
Old reliable, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Cal Eldred was here in attendance, and guys like Springer and everything have said, hey, we got a uniform for you. Come on. Cal was probably halfway tempted.
Kevin Kuzminoff.
I'm sure he would have turned down the paycheck, though.
Of course. A swing and a miss by Kuzminoff to start the 7th, followed by Headley and then Greene.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Cal's come in for the Christian Family Day tomorrow.
Adam Kennedy stays in the ball game to take over at 2nd. After lining out to 3rd. No balls and 2 strikes.
And I've got a fundraiser tomorrow over at the Ballpark Saloon where we're going to have Little Patriots. This is a wonderful organization that shows support to the immediate family members and military personnel as they face the psychological and emotional stress of deployment. And I've got about 14 ex-Redbird players that are going to be coming signing autographs. Rawlings was great enough to give us a bunch of baseballs, major league quality baseballs, and we're going to sign from 1:30 to 2:30. It's a 2:55 start, and a lot of raffle items, and raise a lot of money for that great organization.
Well done. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Spoiled. Tom Williamson has been involved in baseball for almost 52 and a half years. 52 and a half years for Tom Williamson.
And he's only 45.
We call him T-Dub.
T-Dub. Been around a long time, doing a lot of different sports broadcasts.
1-2 pitch and a strikeout to start the 7th. What time again tomorrow over at the saloon?
Well, the players are going to be signing, and there'll be guys like Reitze and Danny Cox, Glenn Brummer, Joe Cunningham, Dal Maxfield, and others. They've got 15 of us, and we're going to sign from like 1:30 to 2:30. After the game will be some stuff, but we'll have a lot of raffle items. You know, got a Stan Musial. Dick Zitzman was kind enough to give me a Stan Musial bat that buy some raffle tickets, give that away. Lou Brock signed a couple baseballs. Got a Hungo Award we're going to even give away, and Cardinals gave me some ticket vouchers for future games. So had a lot of prizes and hopefully raise a lot of money for that wonderful organization, Little Patriots.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. How about memorabilia from a team even like the Yankees? Al?
Yeah, you know, I guess this guy was not a Sexton fan because he's in the lineup tonight.
Reggie Sexton, huh?
Yeah.
The other New York team, the Mets, lose to Cincinnati. All of a sudden, they're right in the hunt for the wild card or the division. 5-2, the Reds.
They won 10 in a row and moved into first place before tonight.
That's right.
And Philadelphia beat Marlins, so they move back over, back on top.
That they do. The 1-2 pitch. Got him. Old reliable, as you like to call him. Can still be pretty dirty when he wants to be.
Well, he sure can. He's probably one of the best strikeout options the Cardinals have in their bullpen. That nasty slider just underneath the hands of a lefty. almost a self-defense swing.
Top of the ninth, the Cubs and Astros tied at 1-1.
Ross guarding the line tonight.
2 outs. Greene is homered tonight with an opposite field shot. Looper only lasted 3 innings. Seen Thompson, seen Vallone. Now Springer.
Khalil Greene, even with his 1 for 3 home run and a pair of strikeouts, just .215 average.
1-0 pitch. Popped up. Pujols will give it a look. Along with Molina, it's out of play.
What was it? Greene had, I think, 27 home runs last year and nearly 100 RBIs. Hit his 9th home run tonight and his 33rd RBI.
If you're Bud Black, that's one player you're probably not even worried about coming into the season, but he has not had a typical Khalil Greene type year. Last year, 27 home runs, 97 driven in.
Yeah, and I mean, first time we saw him a couple years ago, he was just one of the real exciting young players in the game.
Wound up hitting .254 last year. His averages haven't been great, but the home runs, the RBIs, and the defense have been from the shortstop position.
Out of Key West, Florida.
One and 2 is the count. Molina sets up on one knee inside. Hits a spot. Popped up. Kennedy. Time to stretch here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals owning a 7-6 lead. Jennifer Range is tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, Jennifer Range qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Rick Ankiel with the Cardinals down by a run at 7-6.
Bring in a lefty to face Ankiel, Joe Thatcher. Left-handed batters are only batting .391 against him.
Ankiel has handled lefties just fine.
Well, this guy, you can see that sweeping delivery, .391 for left-handed batters, only .347 for righties.
Quickly, 0-2.
Thatcher already is 0 for 4 with a 6.75 ERA and 5 holds in 22 appearances for San Diego this year.
Here's the 0-2 pitch on Ankiel. Fouled back. Cardinals led at one point 3-1. Trailed 6-3, tied it up 6-6, and now trails 7-6. Ankiel spoils that pitch.
Thatcher from Kokomo, Indiana. Went to Indiana State.
A Sycamore, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe played with Clint Barmas.
Not drafted in his senior year back in '04.
Cubs lose. The Astros beat Chicago 2-1.
Pick up a game.
Lilly went 7 innings in that game. No decision for him. Edmonds a solo home run. Carlos Lee had a solo home run. That tied it up, and then the Astros would win it. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Sweeping breaking ball, 1-2.
That's the pitch that if you can get Rick to swing at, he comes up empty. But if you leave that pitch in the middle of the plate, Rick is going to hit it hard.
It's an RBI by Hunter Pence in the bottom of the ninth to win it for Houston. Spoiled again by Ankiel.
Just a little beyond his reach or in his wheelhouse.
We talked about it last night. From his call-up as a position player last year to what we've seen now, it's almost a full year. And Ankiel with 30-plus home runs since that time.
His career against San Diego, and it's only a span of 8 games. He's hitting .529 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs.
Two-two pitch, fouled back. So 9 pitches so far in this at bat to Ricky Ankiel. Two and two.
Fastball away.
A little low. Good at bat here by Ankiel to start this 7th for St. Louis.
Well, Thatcher may get him, but Rick is up there battling, making him work, and the more pitches you see, the more likelihood you're going to get a mistake.
Pitch number 11 coming up in the at bat.
Fastball away.
3-2. Ankiel pops it up.
Out of play. Mislocation on the inner part of the plate. Supposed to be away. Eight of the 11 pitches have been strikes, and we got the 3-2 count.
Ludwick took the team lead in home runs with 22 earlier tonight. 3-run shot back in the 4th. Can Ankiel tie him right here and then tie up the game as well? 3-2 pitch. Ankiel, a high fly ball. Right field. Goodbye. Over the bullpen, and we are tied. 7-7, number 22 for Rick Ankiel.
And exactly what we're talking about, a total mistaken location. And Rick really battled. He got a pitch he could drive, and he did nothing but do that. 3 RBIs in the night for Rick.
And a winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes.
I'll tell you one thing. That's a perfect example of how talented he is and what damage he can do against a left-handed pitcher.
It's Jennifer Range, our winner tonight. And here it is, the lefty staying into the game to face Yadier Molina.
Well, I mean, instead of being away, that ball was just down and in right in Rick's wheelhouse, and he turned on it. Look at Springer. Hey, kid. Nice going.
Boy, that ball was crushed over the bullpen.
Yeah, it was no doubt about it. You know, and you know, here's a situation. You know, I mean, I don't mean to pick on Thatcher, but you know, it doesn't do a lot of good to have a lefty in your bullpen if your numbers are so horrendous.
Against lefties.
Well, both. Lefties are batting .400 against him, and righties are batting .350.
So if you're going to have a lefty, let's have him get at least lefties.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a couple lefties, but if they can't get people out.
Base hit into center. Go-ahead run is on. That's Turris at first. So 1 out runner at first. The 7-7 game here in the 7th. Be the coolest kid at the lunch table. It's a tin lunchbox featuring center fielder Ricky Ankiel, July 20th. Cardinals and Padres. That'll be this Sunday. Here is Kennedy. 0 for 1. He is lined out to third. And the bat was very identical to the one that we saw the other night against Zach Duke.
And in Pittsburgh, where he fouled off a bunch of pitches, and finally a lefty makes a mistake and gets it in his wheelhouse, and he makes you pay.
Ankiel's 7th home run against lefties this year, 15 against righties. Turris, he can swipe a bag. Cardinals, would they want to be aggressive here?
And Meredith is warming up behind Joe Thatcher.
There he goes. Pitch in the dirt. Throw to second. Safe. Well, they made that close. This tourist has a rip in the back of his pants, his uniform, as he came up sliding, a little pop-up slide. And Hundley made that pretty close.
And Thatcher very slow to the plate, and you could see Hundley has very quick feet and a snap throw right there. But second stolen base for his tourist. He now has 10 on the season, leads the team. And a rip in his pants.
One ball, one strike on Kennedy. He has one home run this year. A base hit would give the Cardinals a lead, you would presume.
And more shallow with Kennedy up, but Bud Black knows Adam Kennedy from their days with the Angels.
Pitch up and in, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Bud was the pitching coach for the Angels before taking over the managerial reins of the Padres.
Chris Duncan was on the on-deck circle, and now it's Aaron Miles. Here's a 2-1. Slowly hit left side is Turris. He saw that Kuzmanov had to leave that third base area so he could advance, and now wild pitch. Pass ball, you'll take anything.
Yeah, good base running right there, as knew that Kuzmanov would have to alter his approach to the ball and couldn't reach him, so he could go on to third. Looks like we'll have a pitching change now with the switch hitter Miles being announced.
Looks like a double switch. So the go-ahead run standing at third base with 2 outs.
Khalil Greene is coming off the field, their shortstop. Clay Meredith has been warming up. And that looks like Bell maybe kind of pointed to himself. So trying to figure out who's going to come into this game.
Measured Ankiel's home run at 437 feet.
So we know Thatcher's gone. And it looks like Bell is coming out. He's a big strikeout guy, but and Luis Rodriguez has gone in to play shortstop.
We'll step aside at 7-7. 7-7, bottom of the 7th. Well, the runner at third and Aaron Miles due up. Rick Ankiel has tied it up. To a long at bat. This is our Hardy's prime cut of the game. 437-foot home run.
Tried to get that ball away from him, missed on the inner part of the plate, and he just turned on it. Tied the score, and now can Miles give the Cardinals a lead?
Well, left-handed, 325, and yet Bud Black gets him to that side of the plate.
Well, the one thing is that Heath Bell, and this guy had over 100 strikeouts last year pitching relief in 90-plus innings. He's very good, but lefties are only batting 174 against him this year. Righties 244.
First pitch to Miles is in the dirt. Nice block by Hundley.
Kid can get it up there in a hurry.
No history between these two. They've never faced each other.
Heath Bell really kind of started with the Mets organization. And 07 was his first year with San Diego. He's 6-4 ERA at 2.02 in 81 games. Had 2 saves. And as I said, 102 strikeouts in 93 innings.
Mentioned that the Phillies had won, and it's Jamie Moyer who has just been remarkable against the Marlins in his career. They win 4-2. The Mets lose 5-2. The big one, the Cubs lose. 3-0. Schumacher on deck, and we know what he does against right-handed pitching.
A lot of people last year, kind of as Trevor Hoffman had an up and down season, and a lot of people thought the tough decision was to make Bell their closer.
And that's outside for ball 4. But Black is saying, game on the line, I'm going with Bell.
Game on the line in the 7th inning. A lot of times you don't get to your closer.
That's right.
You see the difference of what Schumacher's done against right-handed pitching, but here's repeating that Bell has had more dominant numbers against left-handed hitters than the righties.
Schumacher, strike 1. Righties 244, the lefties just 174.
So both managers have the situation they want. They want Schumacher facing a right-handed pitcher. And Bud Black's not afraid to have Bell face any left-handed hitter.
Bell is a hard thrower. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one at 95 on our gun.
He's from Southern California, and he walked on to his college baseball team at Rancho Santiago Community College, and then was a freshman All-American.
The 1-1 pitch, up and away, 2 balls and a strike. Bell again falls behind. Two balls and a strike on Schumacher. Tied game here in the bottom of the 7th.
Slider there. Bill is 30 years of age. Listed as 6'3", 240.
Mentioned that Schumacher 338 against righties, 317 in his career against right-handed pitching.
It's fastball that's supposed to be inside and got a little more of the plate, but at 95 miles an hour, a little tardy on the swing.
Almost hit that out of the glove.
That counts.
Hey, he'll take
it. You know, catcher's
Staying
interference.
2-2. San Diego bullpen has allowed over 47% of its inherited runners to score, the most in the big leagues.
Fastball away. 96 on our gun, 97 on the stadium gun. You see he gets it up there. He shook off the curveball. And Adrian Gonzalez, first baseman, playing behind Miles. Count full.
And spoiled by Schumacher.
You know, breaking ball, backdoored it and everything. Skipped out a little piece of it.
We saw the fastball. He was very tardy on that pitch. Why would he go with the breaking ball there?
Trying to trick you. Trying to trick you. You know, guys today, it's amazing that just don't have the confidence in their fastballs or the ability to spot it. Even if a hitter's looking for it, he shouldn't catch up to that. Didn't want the fastball, he wants the curveball.
3-2 pitch. Schumacher, a swing and a miss. But this game has been tied up thanks to Rick Ankiel. It's 7-7 as we head to the 8th. Cardinals baseball tonight on FSN. Let's recap what has taken place tonight. Braden Looper only 3 innings out of the Cardinals starter. Maddux lasts only 4, and a lot of offense on both sides. 7-7, our Jack-in-the-Box recap. Big home run by Ryan Ludwick. Also by Rick Ankiel to tie it up. Ludwig's tied it up at 6-6. Ankiel's made it 7-7. You want offense? You've got it tonight. 24 combined hits. New pitcher for St. Louis. It's Kyle McClellan.
Pitched a couple outs last night. People might have wondered why they took him out and brought in Balone to get the final out of the inning, but One of the reasons why Tony did so was so he'd be available here again tonight. Leads the staff with his 47 appearances.
The 1-1 pitch hit down the left field line and pulled foul off the bat of Nick Hundley. Hundley tonight struck out looking. His last time up, he has also doubled and struck out looking back in the second. Here's a 1-2. A knee buckling curveball and a strikeout for Cal McClellan.
Cal's had a very, very good rookie season, and a big curveball right there that gets a lot of guys talking to themselves. He's got 4 great pitches. He's got a bright future. He's really a smart young man that's really soaked in this atmosphere and become a real plus.
Luis Rodriguez, first pitch taken for a ball. And Tony La Russa has really used him in vital key roles and spots this year. Ground ball right side, handled easily. Miles is there. 2 away.
Brother is his pitching coach. Father has a sports facility. Had a lot of reconstruction on that elbow, but he has a power plus arm. Stiff front leg.
Suntrip.com cam is brought to you by the Suntrip Automotive Group. Breaking ball and a strike. Some say that he has the best curveball on the Cardinals team. Doesn't waste any time. He gets it and goes. There's another one. Strike 2. Jody Garrett, the leadoff man, falls behind 0-2.
Jody's had a nice night, 3 for 4, including a 2-run home run.
Cardinals will have Ludwick, Pujols, and Gloss coming up. There's the fastball. I'm sorry, excuse me, the slider.
Yeah, the cutter that earned up here.
There it is again. 2-2. 2-2. Ooh, just missed.
And backdoor the curveball out there.
Three-two pitch. And after jumping out ahead, 0-2, he walked him. Edgar Gonzalez. So 2 outs and a runner at first. And that pitch is a little low and outside. Gonzalez tonight singled back in the first, hit by a pitch in the third, struck out in the fourth, and singled in the sixth.
Sometimes they get so happy with the breaking pitches, the curveball and sliders from McClellan, that you just don't throw enough fastballs to have good location with it. He walked Garrett on the fastball.
Runner goes on 1-0. Chance for Molina. Yes, sir. He got him. Ludwick, Pujols, Gloss coming up. Baseball tonight on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light. By Chevrolet. See for yourself. Shop and compare at STLChevy.com. And by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
No doubt about it, as Molina guns down another. You give him a chance to throw, he's going to, more times than not, do this to any base runner.
Suntrip.com cam brought to you by the Suntrip Automotive Group.
Back over about 34% of catching would-be Steelers. Got off to a very slow start because of the pitchers really did not, I think they knew the reputation and thought that nobody'd ever run, but they weren't doing their job of holding runners in check. And Molina several times didn't even have a chance to throw.
Bell still in the game to face Ludwick, then Pujols and Troy Gloss. 7-7. Cardinals have stranded 9 tonight. The 0-1 pitch.
Cardinal fans could get a real treat tonight, and seeing a future Hall of Famer start this game for San Diego, and possibly see a future Hall of Famer pitch at the end of the game for San Diego. And a future Hall of Famer might determine the outcome with one swing.
Outfield is deep for Ludwick. He has a 3-run homer tonight. RBI total for Ludwick now up to 68. Very, very deep in the outfield. Big gap in left center.
I don't think he can get around on a pitch.
So here comes the 0-2. Instead, Bell will step off. 44,000 plus here tonight at Busch Stadium. Cardinals will have Wellemeyer going tomorrow. Randy Wolf will get the start for the Padres. And again, that game is on Big Fox at 2:30. 0-2 the count on Ludwick. The next to him got him to chase and a strikeout. Pujols will step in.
Be a fun battle here, huh?
Power and power. First pitch to Albert. A strike. Last time up, he had second, or rather first and second, and on 4 straight they walked him. Bases loaded for Gloss, and then he would strike out. Here's the 0-1. Fastball away. Swung on and missed. Strike 2.
He's just gone right after him, challenging him with a pair of fastballs, and it looked like he was looking for the breaking ball and couldn't catch up to the 95 mile an hour.
Up the middle on an 0-2 pitch and a base hit. The guy is just remarkable.
His third hit, and there you go. Bell goes right after him with a fastball, gets ahead. Now this is an exceptional pitch down the way. Gets this one up a little bit, but Albert had that ability to tomahawk a high delivery and hit it right back up the middle for his 3rd hit of the day. And he's been on base 4 times with a walk. And the one time they made it out, it was a line drive to center that Garrett made a nice diving catch.
So 1 out, a runner at first. That's Pujols. First pitch to Gloss. He's taken for a ball. Struck out with the bases loaded, doubled and scored. He is singled and also flied out to left. We're in the 8th, 7-7. Pitch right there. They're trying to get him to chase that slider.
It looks more like a slider, doesn't it? And it looked like they put down a curveball sign, but more of a slurve or in between. There's a curveball, but this pitch that we look like, it doesn't break like a curveball.
Nobody getting loose in the Padres bullpen. 3-0 on Gloss. So with the way that he's swinging the bat, turn him loose.
Yep, and looks like Izzy warming up in the Cardinal pen. Fastball away.
And that's ball 4. 4 straight. And Pujols is in scoring position. Rick Ankiel will be the hitter.
Got to go up there looking fastball. And if you get the lesser pitch, the curveball, just spoil it. If you're looking curveball, you won't catch up to his fastball.
Ankiel tied it with a home run last inning. 400 feet plus. First pitch to him is a strike. Here's the 0-1.
And a breaking ball. Now you just have to try and be quick enough to just foul off a pitch and wait for a mistake. Great at bat his last time up when he tied the game up with his 22nd home run against a left-handed pitcher. Was it 12 pitches in the at bat?
You are correct. Molina on deck. Here comes an 0-2 pitch. Broken bat, slowly hit. Won't be able to get 2, and they won't be able to get 1. Bases are loaded.
Gonzalez, the first baseman, went to his right. Edgar Gonzalez, and he never retreated back, and Bell was late in covering. It was one of those situations where Adrian Gonzalez ventured further to his right than he should, never retreated back. That pitcher, watch the pitcher, he does not react immediately, and nobody at first base.
Wow.
So makes a good, well, I guess he did, but he just didn't get there. An infield single.
Well, Molina is the hardest major league batter to strike out. He strikes out once every 20 at bats, and only 14 strikeouts on the year. That's the positive. The negative, the running speed, the fact that he does put it in play, and the potential for the double play. Pujols, a single on an 0-2 pitch. He's at third. Gloss walked on 4 pitches. He's at second. Infield hit by Rick Ankiel. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 8th for Yadier Molina. First pitch to Yadi. A pitch out to see if they might potentially think about the squeeze with the bases loaded.
Well, I mean, with Albert running and everything like this, you know, I mean, it would surprise me. And Yadi's one of those guys that, you know, many times he's a guy that, as you say, you don't, if he hits it on the ground, they got their double play. But here's a guy that I really feel that rises to occasions like this and is going to have a quality at bat.
What's interesting is that there's 1 out, and Molina has 31 RBIs. 20 of the 31 have come with 2 outs.
Well, that's what I mean. He's a clutch performer. He's not afraid of hitting with 2 outs. There's 1 in this situation, but the game is on the line, and you trust Yadi.
This crowd is ready to explode. 1 ball, 1 strike on Molina. Check swing did not go. Take it just a bit outside.
And that's what you're talking about, his ability to be the toughest batter to strike out. He won't expand his zone on pitches like that. That pitch would have been strike 2 to many a hitter. Shading him a little bit to the opposite field. Gap out in left center.
Still nobody up and throwing for the Padres in their pen. It's all up to Bell. The 2-1 pitch. Molina hits it out of play and foul. Cardinals with Izzy getting loose. 2-2 on Molina. The Cubs have already lost.
Milwaukee has a early 1-0 lead in San Francisco, batting in the 4th. CC Sabathia at the plate. Clay Meredith, another right-hander, warming up now for the Padres.
Just started too,
but he'd been up early.
2-2. Molina reaches for it. Base hit into right. And the Cardinals have the lead. Gloss being waved in. Play at the plate. Not in time. And Molina delivers. And the Cardinals have a 2-run lead.
Trust Yachty. Not the prettiest of base hits, but very, very effective. Picking up 2 RBIs. It's a breaking ball down and away, just reaches out there, makes contact, and shoots it through the right side. And the Cardinals pick up 2 runs. Pujols and Gloss both score on the RBI single. Takes second on the throw.
Well, partner, what gets interesting is what's been happening in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Isringhausen up and loose.
As he gets the night, or gets the chance here. And
base hit would be nice here, and a 4-run cushion. Infield drawn in is Turris. Looks at a strike.
And I think, you know, Franklin had a successful save conversion after a tough start with back-to-back doubles in a 1-run game. But, you know, these are the situations where Izzy's going to have his opportunities to get to 300. And it starts tonight, maybe.
As Turris taps it foul. Off his foot, it looked like, and it's 1-2. Big base hit by Molina. If the Cardinals can hold on and win this ball game, leading by 2 runs, they pull to within 3 games of the Chicago Cubs and win number 55 of the season.
Bell, by the way, in his past 24 games since May 20th was 6-0 with a 1.42 ERA coming in tonight.
Izzy has not had a save since May 5th. 2-2. Two pitch. This Turris ground ball to short. Play at the plate and out. Ankiel hands up in the air pleading his case, and here comes Tony La Russa. Didn't slide. Was the tag there that beat him?
Well, apparently in Ankiel's mind is he was not tagged, but the throw beat him, and a good pressure play by Rodriguez.
Sometimes, even if you just don't slide, benefit of the doubt will go to the fielder, and they just don't call him out.
Off balance throw, and he comes right here. Let's see right here. And from the umpire's situation, it appeared that he got him on the leg. Throw was there. Did he really tag him? We can't tell.
So here's Duncan with 2 outs. Runners at first and third. Off the bench for Chris. First pitch, a strike. 93 miles an hour, the fastball. 9-7 Cardinals. It's been back and forth all night. Ground ball, base hit. Duncan delivers. A run will score. It's a 3-run Cardinals lead.
That is a big base hit right there by Duncan. Padding the lead, that 3-run cushion. And that'll be it for Heath Bell. But Black will bring in Clay Meredith.
Well, they stuck with him a long time. You got to wonder about his availability to bounce back tomorrow. Nearly 40 pitches here in this game. So Duncan on an 0-1 pitch picks up the RBI. A 3-run Cardinals lead. 16 hits tonight for St. Louis. And it's 10-7 as we step aside here on FSN. $16 hits for St. Louis. They've stranded 9, but they have a 3-run lead. Cardinals with 3 runs here in the bottom of the 8th, and it's 10-7 in favor of the Birds. Clay Meredith in for San Diego. This will be his 48th appearance on the year.
I mentioned this guy a year ago was very tough, and 80 appearances, 5-6, 3.50 ERA, and really was a very difficult to hit against. This season, right-handed batters are batting .230, or left-handed batters .390. He's held opponents scoreless in 33 of 47 appearances. Real good guy in the community. San Diego supports the Burn Institute. Very active with military, visiting the military hospitals in San Diego.
Miles, left field, base hit. A run will score. 4-run lead for the Cardinals. Isturiz crosses the plate. 11-7 St. Louis. Boy, is this team fun to watch.
Miles, second plate appearance, and does a job in this situation. Just lofts that ball just out away from him. Lefties said we're batting .390 against him. They get a good look at this submariner. Very tough on the right-handers, but he has had a disappointing season, and now wild should be a pass ball.
Second and third, a base hit, and the Cardinals will be in complete control of this game. They're up by 4 now. It's 11-7.
Scored a wild pitch, but it sure looked like it was not in the dirt.
Well, you've faced Jake Peavy in game 1. Maddux tonight. Have a chance to go up 2-0 in this series, and you wonder if San Diego all of a sudden collapses after dropping the first 2 here in St. Louis.
It's a team that's starting the longest road trip, 4 cities, 11-game road trip. Start this game's after the All-Star break. They've got 13 young kids on this team. Bud Black has seen 13 guys join his ball club from like AAA, and just waiting for his real team to show up.
3-1.
Get Randy Wolf tomorrow, and some people think he may be on the trade block.
Well, we're about 100 games into the season. This might be his real team.
Maybe Bruce Bochy knew something, huh?
Yeah, you bet. Three and 2 with 2 outs.
A little disappointing. You hate to ever tell guys to stop swinging the bat, but I wanted to see a save opportunity for Izzy. That will not happen tonight.
Bases loaded for Ludwick. He started the inning by striking out. So his second plate appearance. Pujols on deck. And back in 2006, when it looked like the Cardinals might have one of the all-time great collapses the final month or so of that regular season, it was Albert Pujols with a home run against Clay Meredith that landed in Big Mac land, you might remember, and it was one of the biggest home runs, if not the biggest, of the season in the regular year. 2 outs, and Ludwick is swinging a miss. You would hate to make 2 outs in 1 inning. He wouldn't dare do that, would he?
You know, that Hundo could be on the line too.
Strike 2.
He's already got the hat trick and strikeouts, but a 3-run home run and also a single.
How about Miles? 349 average, the 7th inning or later. A strikeout of Ludwick, 2 in the inning of Ryan Ludwick. But the Cardinals pick up 4 runs. They lead it 11-7. The big base hit, Yadier Molina. Broke the tie. The Cardinals would add 2 more, 11-7 as we head to the ninth.
Back at Busch Stadium, we head to the ninth with the Cardinals leading this one 11-7. Don't forget, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, we'll have Tony La Russa's post-game news conference. We'll go all access inside the Cardinal clubhouse for player reaction. Plus, it's Friday. That means it's a Hungo night. Brent Stover, Rick Horton will have that and more coming up.
Okay, Jim, looking forward to it. 11-7, St. Louis over San Diego. Jason Isringhausen into the ball game here in the ninth. It's Edgar Gonzalez to lead it off for the Padres. First pitch was a strike. Here comes the second. The breaking ball, and that's strike 2. I guess one of the big questions on a personal level for Isringhausen, will he get to save number 300 by the end of this regular season?
I think he will. I think he'll have the opportunity to do it. You know, he was going to be in line for a save here tonight, or a save opportunity, but offense a little too potent, scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
0-2 pitch, hit out of play.
And there'll be times when, you know, Franklin is used as the primary closer, but Izzy will have opportunities when, you know, he'll maybe not be available. And I think Tony will kind of mix and match and see who the best option is on you know, an individual game basis.
Here's the 0-2.
This is an important game where the Cardinals could pick up a full game on the Chicago Cubs and be 3 back.
A 1-2 pitch. Broken bat. Hit to second. And the all-important first out. Our Budweiser player of the game, Budweiser, the great American lager. Yadier Molina, Al, with the biggest hit of the night.
Big hit right there, just reaching out, stroking the ball out there. His only hit of the game, but it plates 2 and gives the Cardinals a 2-run lead. They pad that with a couple more. He's done a good job working with the pitching staff. Remember, the runner he threw out at second base was key. But this is a good team effort right here.
1 out and nobody on for Brian Giles.
Giles had a nice night, 3 for 4, but no success against Jason Isringhausen.
Al, it's also a night in which the Cardinals only get 3 innings out of their starter. So the bullpen has done a decent job tonight. But the offense keeps plugging along with 17 hits.
That, you know, you fortify that bullpen with Randy Flores and Jimenez, so you still have some fresh arms down there. You know, Franklin available tomorrow. Probably not Kyle McClellan, as he's pitched back-to-back days. Springer is very efficient again. Malone is the kind of guy that can come back, so you got your 2 lefties, and just close out this victory and you worry about tomorrow.
Don't see that often from Giles chasing a pitch like that up in the zone. The 1-2, breaking ball. Ooh, just missed. Just missed outside.
He's got a very good batting eye, and he'll make you throw a strike, but you're right, he doesn't chase often. There's the curveball.
The 2-2.
He's got a piece of it. Giles, one of 11 active players with 1,000 runs, over 1,500 hits, 250 homers, 1,000 RBIs, and 1,000 walks. Cutter, back door.
2-2 pitch.
No free passes when you're up by 4. Just go with the express. Easiest pitch you should control.
And he walked him, a one-out walk.
Put down one, and he threw a cutter.
Adrian Gonzalez with the chance to keep this thing going for San Diego. Double play could end it. Cardinals will like to play behind Giles with Gonzalez up, hitting from the left side of the plate, so Pujols plays back. Giles not running. First pitch is a ball. With Izzy on the mound, Proud, of course, a little bit restless when he falls behind.
You've got 4 runs to work with, and the Cardinals' sin is walking about. That got him in trouble in Pittsburgh. It wasn't the 3-run home run, it was the walk.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Giles running on the pitch, but fouled off by Gonzalez. Curveball, didn't want it. Fastball in.
One and two.
Fastball out away. I'm saying that, you know, today's pitchers, probably the pitch they have the least success locating is the fastball, which should be the easiest pitch to locate. Curveball.
Giles running. Ground ball. Pujols there. He'll take it himself. 2 away. The Padres down to their final outs. This game has been kind of a microcosm of the Cardinals season in many ways.
It has, but I will say the exception is because the Cardinals usually get such good starting pitching. The exception is to have a outing like Looper had, where the starter only goes 3 innings.
Well, I thought one of the biggest plays in this game was after 3 consecutive hits in the 6th. The 3-6-1 double play where Vallone got to the bag and really made an athletic play in the double play.
Oh, you thought he should have won the Hungo on that play.
Absolutely.
We'll have to wait and see. Well, everybody's holding their breath.
I know they are. The edge of their seats. Strike 1 on Kevin Kuzmanov. The 0-1 pitch from Izzy. Strike 2.
Good cutter there.
Everybody on their feet here at Busch Stadium.
This ball club is so resilient, and they find ways as a collective group to entertain you, don't they?
Yes, they do. A lot of fun to watch. 0-2 pitch.
And they have the right man in charge in Tony La Russa, like his meeting yesterday before the game, you know, talking about, okay, boys, we'll pat you on the back, what you did before the All-Star break, but that doesn't mean anything unless you don't dig down deep, push hard, and bring it on home.
The 1-2. Got a ball game. Cardinals win at 11-7. And that is win number 55. Redbirds find themselves only 3 games back of Chicago with the win tonight. 17 hits, an 11-7 win here in Game 2.
Big night for Ludwick with his 3-run homer. Ankiel tied it up. Molina, the biggest hit in the game. We'll talk about it coming up on the postgame show.
Well, the game is over here in downtown St. Louis. Fans going home happy. 11-7 the final. 2 straight wins for the Redbirds over the San Diego Padres here. And this one, not good starting pitching from Braden Looper, but the bullpen gets it done and lots of offense. Coming up on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Future Hall of Famer against a former reliever on the mound. Could the Bulldog hang with Mr. Looper? And inside the Cardinals clubhouse for player reaction and Tony La Russa as well. And Friday night, which means only one thing, the Hungo Award. Happy birthday, Hunter S. Thompson. But there's no fear and loathing here. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live next.